Good evening and welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or one of the 50% of the people watching this who have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live. And most importantly, if you would like to join the debate, there is a link below this video. With the page you are currently watching on mute, simply click on the link below this video to join the debate and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are, however, a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. And number two, if you are ejected, please do not try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You will be warmly welcome back on the next stream. With that, I'm going to transition straight across to the Hangout as we've been joined by Sleeping Warrior, who I will introduce in a moment. Be sure to share the show on social media and I will do the same. And with that, I will pass Hangout across to Anthony Riley. How are you doing, Anthony?
I'm feeling victorious, Nathan.
Good to have you here. Very pleased to see you.
You're not going to ask me why I'm feeling victorious?
You go ahead.
I've just had a good maybe 3-hour hangout, or maybe 2.5 hours with GeoStreamer. I'll drop a link in the chat. And it was essentially, we were arguing about the Curie point of the Earth's core and the iron nature that loses its magnetism. And we did this the other day. And essentially, Miles came on the other day and he said that it was to do with gravity and the rotation. And GeoStreamer made the same claim. And the problem with the rotation of the Earth, basically, they can't prove that molten iron creates its own magnetic force because it's moving. They can't prove that that's true, but that's what they believe to be true, and therefore it's true in their heads. But when I put pressure on them to prove that it is physically true, there was none. There was no evidence of it. But they're all claiming victory now because I'm so stupid and I've got this, that, and the other. But the simple fact is, of course, they can't prove the assertion to be true that iron in its liquid state creates its own magnetic charge. They can't prove it. So by default, they lose their own argument, but they're too dumb to realize that that evidence that's missing means they don't win their argument. It's that simple. Yet I'm the one that's supposed to have lost the argument by majority rule. And the bandwagon fallacy is alive and well in heliocentricity again. They all think they won, but actually they lost because no evidence. No evidence means that your claim fails. So if it's measured by the bandwagon fallacy, I lost. If it's measured by evidence to prove their assertions to be true, they lost. What do you go with? Is it the bandwagon fallacy or is it evidence?
You're reliant on your audience to make that decision.
Oh, well, in that case, it's the bandwagon fallacy that wins.
That's maybe.
Obviously, I was in a baller chat, so there was like 25 of them rapidly going over the keyboard, going trying to find the molten temperature of, the molten state of iron and magnetic properties, and of course there are none. So they were all trying to find it for GeoStreamer to come back at me and say, no, hey, I found something for you. And when he came back with sodium, he said, look, I found you sodium. There you go. And I said, that's not iron, though, is it? So he couldn't prove it. He didn't have his evidence. They're all laughing at me right now in GeoStreamer's chat. But the reality is they made an assertion. They didn't have evidence to support it. So the evidence, therefore, or the assertion, therefore, fails. I technically won because you guys did not have the evidence. With no evidence, you do not win. It's that simple. It's not about maths. It's not about logical presumptions. It's not about reasonable acceptances. It's about proving stuff. You guys did not prove your case to be true. I did.
Been joined by Mark Taylor. Very pleased to have you here, Mark. How are you doing?
Yeah, all right, Nathan. I'm cool, man.
Hey, Mark, did you hear me giving you credit this morning?
I'll don't make credit off you, Anthony.
No, you don't need it, but I gave it anyway.
Okay. I've only come in just to clarify something.
Oh, go on.
Well, not really to clarify, to see if I can help you understand something. Angular size, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
Right. On your explanation, you said that you need two sets of data to get the third set of data, yeah?
Yeah, you need the angle and or the actual size or distance.
Right. So if you've got the angular size and the actual size, then you can calculate the distance, yeah?
Correct.
So to get the angular size, you don't need the distance then, do you? Because you've just admitted that you can get the distance from having the angular size, and to have the angular size, then you can obviously calculate that on its own, can't you?
Well, when you said the angular size, I took it that you meant the size of the angle. Is that not what you meant?
No, there's three compartments, there's three bits to that formula. Yeah, the angular size, the actual size, and the distance.
Correct.
There's no measure of angle.
Yeah.
So if you've got two, you can get the third one. Yeah.
Correct.
Right. So if you've got the angular size and the actual size, you can get the distance. Yeah.
The angular size being the measured angle.
The angular size, Anthony.
Just clarify what you're referring to when you say that.
The angular size, what it appears to the person looking at it in the sky. So it's measured. It's measured. Just say, for instance, yeah, you're looking out. You're standing on Earth. You're looking out at the moon. You have two lines going out from your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
From each side of the moon, you put one line on one side and one line on the other side. So that is the angular size.
So in answer to technically it isn't, but in answer
no, it is Anthony, because I do myself personally. Yeah, for the last 18 months, 2 years now, I've been doing astrophotography. Yeah. And angular size is very important to me because, for the simple fact, I have to do equations to work out what kind of things I can image with my camera, and I can go through it with you if you want about how I do that. Yeah, right. You've got to put a few
before
measurements
you do, Mark.
Into
Sorry
a
to interrupt you, Mark. Before you do go through it with him, we've been joined by Curve Water and Cat Earth in that order. If I can just say a quick hello to Curve Water first and foremost.
Hello.
Hello. And also Alex, how you doing?
Hello. Good luck with this, Mark.
Yeah. It's going to be trying to make it as simple as I can for him, right?
Let me answer your question. If you have the angle, the measured angle that you were just talking about, when you have the two lines up to the top and the bottom of the moon or whatever, if you have that measured angle and the actual size, yes, you can get the distance.
Well then, so you don't need the distance to tell the angular size, then, do you?
No, but you do need the distance to calculate the actual size, and if you don't know,
that's the whole argument, Anthony. The angular size doesn't need distance.
Right,
you can calculate the angular size.
That is only true if you know the actual size.
No, it's not, Anthony. I'm going to prove it to you now, right?
When
I do astrophotography, there's certain things in the sky, and they're measured by angular size, yeah? Like the moon and the sun.
Right.
Like, they're 30 arc minutes, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
Right. So what I do, I have to put some calculations into, it's called an image scale, yeah? You put in the pixel size, so for instance, a camera, right? On the sensor, you've got a load of pixels, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Each pixel is measured in microns, the size of the pixel, yeah? So you put in the pixel size, right? For this demonstration, I'm going to use the camera that I'm using at the moment. So the pixel size is 3.8 microns, yeah?
Yeah.
Then you've got the focal length of the telescope, which is 750 millimeters.
Right.
Yeah. Then you do the width of the pixels. That's the width from one side of the sensor to the other side of the sensor, yeah?
But do you agree that you're going to get an answer based on the focal length rather than the actual distance?
No. It's not nothing to do. There's no distance involved, Anthony. Just listen to the equation, yeah? Right? So the width of the sensor, so that's from one side to the other. That in this it's 4656, yeah? Then you've got the height of the sensor. It's all in millimeters, by the way. The height of the sensor, which is 3520, yeah?
Yeah.
You plug that into it, then you press calculate. Then it gives you a scale, yeah? The image scale per pixel is 1.045, but this is the measurement I want you to listen to. The field of view width in arc minutes is 81.10, yeah? That's the width. So from the side, one bit of the sensor to the other side of the sensor, that's how much of the sky I can fit in. So that's 81.10 arc minutes, and the height is 61.31. Now, when you look at things in the sky, they've all been measured, right, with arc minutes and stuff like that. So for instance, like the moon is 30 arc minutes, yeah. So that's easily going to fit into that scale, isn't it? Because it's 81 by 61. So it's easily going to fit into my sensor. So I have no trouble with that. Other things like, so for instance, Andromeda Galaxy. That's quite a big galaxy. I can get the actual measurements for you, but all things in the sky go by the angular size, and that tells me what I can photograph with my field of view. And that's got nothing to do with distance. It's got fuck all to do with anything. All it's doing is you're looking at something. You put one line. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Sorry. I put one line on one side of the object and another line on the other side, like Orion's Nebula. You can tell if it's going to fit in your sensor, but it's got nothing to do with distance. You don't need the distance. All it is the measure of the angle of the size of the object that you're looking at. You don't need any distance at all, Anthony.
Before you respond, we've been joined by Truth Seeker. Very pleased to have you here, Truth Seeker.
Thanks for having me.
If I could just ask Mark, if you can just turn your camera off, just so we get your icon when you're speaking.
Yeah, I haven't got my camera on. I don't know what it is that's doing
on
it.
On the Hangout page, it'll be on the. I know it's not actually on, but if you turn it,
no, it's not on. It's not on. On iPad, yeah. If you go into your on your main settings screen on an iPad, you go into each app. On my Hangouts app, the slider is off for the camera.
No, I appreciate that, but I think in the Hangout itself, I think it picks it up as being on, even if it won't pick it up. So
well, no, it's crossed off. That's what I mean.
Oh,
it's
really?
off.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, it's happened before. It does happen. It must be a glitch or something.
Fair enough. My bad.
No,
sorry to interrupt the flow. You carry on, Mark. You were just getting to the end of your point, I'm sure.
No, I'm just saying that everything in the sky is measured like that, so you can see how big it is as you look at it. That's as simple as it is. That's all it is.
Can I just quote you? You said that there were the 5 words that you said I've put inside chat, and I quote, "It gives you a scale." Do you remember saying them words?
Yeah.
Right. That's the resolution it's giving you, right? It isn't giving you the distance. So when you're saying it's got nothing to do with distance, you're not asking it for the distance. All you're doing is you're measuring the angle, which is the whole point I was saying.
Yeah. What if it's on a sensor? But you don't need. If I look at Orion's Nebula, yeah. If I get a telescope with a certain eyepiece that's got the measurements in the eyepiece, you can look through the telescope, and when you look at Orion's Nebula, it will tell you in the eyepiece how big it is in angular size. Then that's your measurement of angular size. You don't need to know the distance. You don't need to know anything else. All it is just a measurement of how big it is that it looks to you, Anthony. That's all angular measurement is. And if you don't believe me, you don't have to believe me. Looking at on the net and find a number for any astronomer that's near you or anywhere, and he would explain it to him. Just ring him up and ask him. Like these summer places you can go and visit, we've got telescopes and all that. Just they've got public telephone numbers. Ring them up and just ask them, and they will tell you what it is. No one agrees with you, Anthony. No one.
But it doesn't.
I agree. Actually, I completely agree.
Yeah, well, you would too, Siki, but you haven't got the first clue about what you're talking about.
All right, Mark, let me respond. When you've measured it in pixels across the width, and you've got your pixel size, let's say it was 30 pixels. What are you actually measuring there? Are you measuring its actual size, or you're measuring the way it appears to you?
What it appears to us, Anthony.
Right. So
that's the angular size. That is all angular size is.
But you don't know its actual size.
No.
Right. So if you don't know its actual size, you can't complete the formula to give you the distance.
Well, I don't need the formula, Anthony. We're just talking about one measurement, the angular size. That's what the whole argument's been over, Anthony.
But the angular size is the completion of the formula.
No, it's not, Anthony. It's one measurement. It's one measurement that's took from Earth, Anthony.
Well, if you just read the definition, Mark, it all say the same thing. So if you don't understand it, I can't help you.
I do understand it, Anthony, because I have to use it every time I go out and do my astrophotography. You've never been out with a telescope. You've never done it. You've never done the calculations. So for you to say that I don't know what I'm talking about when I've spent nearly $5,000 on my equipment is an utter joke, Anthony.
Yeah, but
there's people that do this all the time. Go on a website. Go Cloudy Nights. Go on any of them and put a post on there and ask them what angular size is, Anthony.
Right, sorry to interrupt you guys. I'm really sorry. We've had 3 new guests join. I've been waiting for a gap and there just isn't one, so I'm going to have to interrupt. So we've been joined by, let's get it in the right order, Brenda first. How you doing, Brenda?
Your audio is pretty bad.
Yeah,
your audio.
I thought it was me. Yeah, I thought it was me. Nathan, your audio's bad.
I'm real though. I'm here. I'm real.
Yeah, hey Tony.
My audio is bad, as in.
Yeah, no, it's right now.
It seems to be better now.
It's Tony. It's Tony. I'll get to him in a minute. I'll ask him to mute. He's periodically muting anyway, but we'll get to Tony. We've also been joined by Who was the second person in? I know it was just Tony. Sorry, Tony. If you could just say a quick hello, that'd be great.
Okay. You hear me?
We hear you.
Hello.
Sorry, Anthony, you carry on. I'm sure you're about to respond to Mark.
Mark, all I'm going to say, if you read the definition of angular size, it clearly states that it's the computation or the calculation or the formulation of knowing the actual size and the distance. It's not measuring what you see. It's knowing the actual size.
No, it's not, Anthony. The angular size is basically all you see from Earth. It's got nothing to do with distance. It's got nothing to do with any other calculations. All it is
by definition.
is put two lines out from your eyes.
Please. Listen. Provide that definition, please. You just said that's the definition. Cite it,
and the word that you keep mixing up, Anthony, is determined. Determined. All it determined is saying is that the size is determined by how close you are to it. If you get closer, it gets bigger. If you get further away, it gets smaller.
Yeah,
that's all determined in that sentence means, Anthony.
Mark, it's from a given point of view, not from any point of view. Curved has just asked me.
So why isn't it told you the given point of view then, Anthony?
Because it's from the observer's point of view. It's not from anywhere along the line.
Exactly. Of course it is. So if the observer gets closer to the object, then that's where the observer sees it from.
But it's from a given point of view. It's not from any point of view, which means
don't be stupid. Of course.
No, Mark,
if you're on a point of view, Anthony, that's your given point of view, isn't it? If you move 10 feet nearer, that's your given point of view.
Mark, would you agree?
Just because it says given point.
Mark,
listen. It says given point of view, it doesn't mean that you have to be at a certain position to look at it. That's stupid.
Just answer this. Do you agree that the way that the size appears to the observer varies based on the distance?
Yes.
Would you also agree that if you knew its actual size, then the distance becomes fixed?
No.
It does, Mark, because that is, if you know its actual size...
I didn't even answer. It wasn't even me.
Oh, sorry. So that means I was trolled.
If you know its actual size, that doesn't determine its distance.
It does.
Its actual size and the
look at the definition.
The angular diameter, you could probably calculate its actual.
Brenda, it says the angular size is an angular measurement describing how large a sphere or circle is from a given point of view. So if you have a fixed distance, then you know its actual size. If you have an actual size, then you know its distance. Otherwise, you've got an infinite variable. That's not
Anthony, hold on, right? On that definition of your, well, it's not a definition, right? It's a description. But on that thing, yeah. If you know the actual size and the angular size, you can tell the distance, yeah.
If you know the actual size, you can. Yes, that's right.
Right. So how do you tell the angular size if you don't know the distance?
You can't. You can only tell the angle.
Well, you just said you can, Anthony.
No,
if you know the actual size and the angular size, you can tell the distance, yeah?
Yes, if you know
that's correct.
Right then. So how do you know the angular size then if you don't know the distance?
If you need to know the
what happened to the angular size of the moon every 27 days?
Let Riley finish hanging himself.
You just said, Anthony, right, that if you know the actual size and the angular size, you can tell the distance, yeah?
Correct.
So in that equation then, if you don't know the distance, how do you know the angular size?
Because if you just said, if you know the actual size and you know the size of the angle, if you measure the angle and you know the actual size, you can get the distance, yes.
Yeah, but all right then. So how do you know the angular size then? Because you're saying the angular size can't be done unless you know the distance. But I've just shown you and you've agreed that I don't know the distance to tell the angular size.
So again, let's go back to the definition. It says the angular size.
Why do you keep going back? You've just admitted, right, that we only need two of them three. We only need two of them three.
It crushes them. Let him do it.
He doesn't understand how variables work in equations.
The angular size is an angular measurement, which is the bottom down here, the bottom bit. It's an angular measurement describing how large the circle is from a given point of view. So you need to have a given point of view. You can't have any view. It's given. So it's a fixed point. It's not infinite.
So where does it say where the fixed point is then, Anthony?
From A. It's the letter A.
Oh, so where is A then?
From A. So it's a specific.
Where is A?
So where is A then?
It's a specific. It can be anything.
Where is A then?
It's anything provided it's.
Oh, so you just said it can't be anything. It has to be specific. So I'm asking
Riley doesn't understand mathematics.
I'm asking you where is specific then, Anthony? You're saying that it says it's specific.
You're way beyond his ability to comprehend. Anthony,
because Brenda's over here. What was your question again, Mark?
You're saying that it's from a specific location. Where is the specific location then?
Anything
For it to be specific, it has to be you have to be told the location.
Correct. It has to be a given point of view. It's not.
Well, so where is that given point then?
It's any
given by point. What?
Well, it can't be specific if it's any, Anthony. Come on, man.
It has to be.
You cannot be this stupid, Anthony.
Given by who?
There's a difference.
You really cannot be this stupid.
Right, as you're all talking over each other, I'm going to turn you right down and do an introduction. So we've been joined by Gem Panda. How you doing, Gem?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Nick.
Right, I'm going to step out partly because I don't like speaking to Brenda anymore since she's deleted 160 files that were not hers. And secondly, we're going around in circles.
Anthony, what do you make out that's some specific crime? In my book, hassling women online for sex is worse than that. So shall we all blank you then, Anthony?
Well, in your book, there's a lot of things that I don't...
Shall we all blank you now, Anthony, because you pester women online for sex?
I mean, come on.
Here we go. Well,
Big shout out to Fanny Lancer for hitting the super chat. Thanks a million.
Is it okay for you to keep bringing up petty files when you've pestered women online, and when we bring it up, we're out of order? How's that work, Anthony?
Mark, I'm not even talking about that topic. I've told you time and time again.
Yeah, exactly, but you want to talk about Brenda's misdemeanors, don't you?
Because it's
you don't mind throwing stones, Anthony, but when someone throws a stone back, you don't like it. So
no, I don't mind.
You better man up, Anthony.
I don't mind the stone.
Or get out of this scene then, because I'm always going to bring it up.
My way, Mark, and none of them bother me.
I'm always going to... I know they don't, because that's the kind of person you are. Pestering a woman online for sex is nothing to you.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that is weird, Anthony.
Entitled to think that.
That's weird. Well, it's not me. It's what society dictates, Anthony. Unless you think society thinks that pestering women for sex online is acceptable.
You can think what you want, Mark. You can think what you want.
Well, it's not me. It's society, Anthony. Society dictates that you're a weirdo.
Whatever.
Well, yeah. So don't bring up people's misdemeanors when you've got worse.
I don't think so, Mark.
Yes,
Creepy
you do.
stalker perv.
Well, so deleting files is worse than pestering women online for sex, Anthony.
Yeah, especially
absolutely,
absolutely,
Mark. Yeah.
Oh, what about raping, Anthony? Is that worse?
You tell me, Mark.
Well, you tell me. You're the same. You seem to be, your moral lines seem to be a bit like blurred, Anthony. So is rape bad?
No.
Is rape worse?
Your level of accepted evidence is blurred.
Is rape worse? What do you mean accepted evidence? She said she made a video about it. She told everyone.
Mark, listen.
So she's lying then. What
you've done is accepted the word of Karen P in the same way that other people have accepted the word of Antonio.
So she's lying then.
With regards to, I'm not commenting because I'm not adding fuel to the fire.
Exactly. So you've got no defence, Anthony. No evidence. In your last hangout, you said no evidence. You've got no proof.
Let me put it to you this way, Mark.
So I've heard from her, so I believe her, Anthony.
Why would Eternal Padawan, who's the one that started all this, demand that Karen apologise to me? Why do you think that might be?
I've never heard him say that. Link a video where he says that.
All right, let me share my screen. Hang on.
So you're telling me she's lying?
While he's sharing the screen, real quick.
You want me to accept the word of the third party, but not the actual person?
Right. This is the guy that started it all. So
no, hold up.
Let's see what he says.
Accept the word of a third party and ignore the protest of the woman that says she's been sexually harassed.
Right. Can you present me, please, Nath?
So that's what you're saying, Anthony, yeah?
Mark, just shut up. Let me play the file. You've asked me for the evidence. I'm presenting it now. At least let me play it.
I'm just going to be rambling on now, so I think I've said everything I wanted to say. Once waste of time. If any of you watch this, then I'm just getting dragged into this shit. I'm very, very sorry, Siri.
Keep listening.
The information that I leaked has caused a lot of shit for you as well. I really am. I mean, like I say, I am even sorry to Karen that I let this information out in the first place. I mean, even though she has shown herself for exactly who she is since, like I say, in a really unthought out videos. I mean, if she just stuck to the facts when she put these retaliation videos out, then I think a lot more people would have respect for her.
It's coming. Wait.
But she didn't. She came out swinging and lying. And I'm going to say it. She lied. She lied about the situation. She was fucking loving it. She was loving the attention from Anthony. She didn't go swinging with him.
What was that?
She lied about the situation.
Say it again.
She lied about the situation.
What? Say it one more time.
About the situation.
One more time, Padron. Go on.
What situation? What situation was that then, Anthony?
Listen.
What situation, Anthony?
Listen, Mark. Listen.
What situation, Anthony? What situation?
Listen.
What situation?
Fucking listen.
What situation? You keep replaying the same words.
Mark, listen. Listen to the context.
Riley.
What situation, Anthony?
Listen.
She was fucking loving it. She was loving the attention.
So now you want me to believe a third party over the actual person, then, yeah? That's your logic.
In defense of Riley, though, flat earthers are a bag of crazy. I mean,
that's your logic.
I thought he was supposed to be saying that.
I thought there was supposed to be evidence.
She should apologise.
Yeah, right. I didn't get there. Hang on. Do you want me to play that particular part?
No. If you say that he said it, then that's.
No, I want to play it just to clear it up.
No, please.
This is just
you don't need to.
What did he say? She lied about.
Hearsay.
Please be quiet.
It's possibly illegal.
We don't need to hear it again.
Wait, listen.
She was fucking loving it. She was loving
So he's swearing. Are you going to eject the puddle one, Nathan?
Meaningless. This is just meaningless. I've got to agree with Mark, Anthony. This means nothing.
As far as I know, but she was loving the attention, and she was certainly thinking about meeting him. So I think she painted him in quite a poor light when she called him harassing.
Right.
When.
Oh, so you did offer, but you just didn't.
Wait.
When she said he was harassing her.
So you did ask her for sex then, Anthony?
I'm not saying
clarify. Well, according to your video, you did. According to your video, you did, Anthony, and she said no because she thought it's harassing. Whether she thought it was harassing on the Monday and then changed her mind and then thought it was something different on the Tuesday, still don't alter the fact. The last word from her is you harassed her.
Yeah, but the thing is,
so is a woman allowed to change her mind, Anthony?
You sound quite proud, Anthony.
He is just proud. That's what I don't get.
Listen. Yeah, I know you don't get it.
That's why you don't get it.
From a position of
weird, mate.
I've said my position has been I am not speaking about it whatsoever, not commenting in any way.
What are you talking about? You've just played a video about it.
We've played a video about it 4-5 times.
Yeah, and I haven't spoken a word about it. This is the guy that started it all, and
you're playing the video.
Yeah, and I'm not saying anything
about it. You wouldn't. You just said I'm not talking about it. I've got no comment.
Neutral.
Not here's the video, so someone else can make that point for me.
Yeah, so put it into context. Put it into context. I haven't said anything.
So you did ask her for sex then, Anthony?
Just wait. I haven't said anything positive or negative. I've been completely neutral.
Well, so we can dismiss that evidence then, can't we?
The guy that started it all.
Well, no, we can dismiss that now, Anthony, because if you're not prepared to even answer it, well, there's no point, is
I don't need to answer it.
All I've got to do is go on her word. I don't have to accept third-party evidence.
You're right. You don't have to, but you can accept.
Well, exactly. I'm not accepting it. I believe Karen P. I believe
what you
if
want.
She felt harassed by you for sex.
Believe what you want, but the evidence is that if you'd have let me finish.
Well, no, there's no evidence, Anthony, because you won't talk about it. You've already admitted that. So move on.
Well, no, but evidence anyway.
That's hearsay.
To put it in your famous words, close the door on your way out.
Hearsay. Somebody just said hearsay.
Yeah, it's
hearsay.
Close
the door on the way out.
Let's just leave it that you harassed her and leave it there and move on.
Yeah, we just leave it there, Anthony. You don't want to talk about it.
Go back to the angular size.
So if you want to leave now, because you was going to leave, wouldn't you?
Testimony from a third person about what another person says is hearsay. It's not admitted in court.
But the guy that started it
wouldn't be admissible in court either, Anthony. And you do love court. You do love court, Anthony.
His words were,
yeah, but that's not admissible, Anthony.
Listen.
That's not admissible.
His words were,
that's not admissible, though, Anthony.
I did not harass her.
It's not admissible, Anthony.
And she was fucking loving it.
Didn't you do a law degree, Anthony?
You just swore, Anthony. Don't swear.
I didn't. I didn't. I stopped.
Okay. Again.
But Anthony, why are you doing this to yourself, man?
I'm not doing anything. I've kept out with it all the way.
Sorry, can you stop?
Yeah, of course you have, Anthony.
I've said nothing.
Well.
Has anybody heard me say anything?
What are you talking about? You made an account.
Can you stop? Sorry to interrupt. Can you? Sorry to interrupt. Sorry. Can you stop screen sharing, Anthony? I just don't want to give anybody epilepsy in the audience.
Sorry,
Anthony. You made an account which you admitted today was all to do with you swinging warrior.
Yes.
So you're making light of it, Anthony. You're making light of a woman feeling hassled for sex.
Absolutely. Doesn't that tell you something?
There you
Mark?
go. Well, there you go, audience. There's
Doesn't that
Anthony
tell you
Riley
something?
admitting that he thinks that a woman being hassled for sex is funny. Nice.
No, that's not what I'm saying, Mark.
Yes, it is. You're making a light of it,
Your
Anthony.
interpretation is, Mark.
No, it's not. It's you admitted it earlier today, Anthony. You said that your icon
and I stand by my
all
position.
to do with you swinging warrior. So
my swinging warrior thing is an intentional yes.
Yeah, you're making light of someone feeling harassed, a woman.
Yes.
You make it less funny to you, is it?
Good evening. I've joined the panel.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, bro. I didn't see you join there. How you doing?
Sorry, mate. I just came in. I came in to ask you a personal question, Nathan, but I've decided in my
not this again.
In my well, I can't forget the words. So I'm not.
Don't worry about it, then, man.
So I just come in to say hi and say goodbye.
Just write it down next time, when you've got a question.
Yeah, I know it's horrible, isn't it?
No, I'm just saying.
English is hard. English is hard. English can be hard.
Yeah, especially for someone who understands English. Yeah. Like Spain.
Yeah, if you're not English, then it is hard. Yeah.
Yeah, but just like my cock. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Well, I better go. Bye.
Better go. Bye.
How he's managed to be the most annoying guy on the panel tonight. It's pretty impressive, bro. Well done. Sorry.
Well, he managed it because David isn't here.
Anyway, good work, Mark. That was pretty impressive, got to say. But Riley, we've had good conversations, man. Why are you doing this to yourself, man?
I'm not. Mark's leading the conversation, not me.
No. Oh, okay.
I
was in talking about my victory against GeoStream.
You didn't win, Riley. Listen, right. Let's have it right now, right? I won't mention it again. I will not mention it again. You being a sex pest, right? If you stop bringing up the stupid thing about what Brenda done.
Bollocks. No way.
Absolutely. Oh, so you can swear again, then, and he gets away with it. So here we go again. Riley can just swear when he wants. When I'll step out, he doesn't have to kick me, right? I'll step out. But the answer to your question.
Right, I hope you're all enjoying the stream so far. I'm going to run through a few links. If you've not done so already, please share the stream on social media, if I get my tongue around it. If you are new to this channel, or you are one of the 50% of the people watching this who have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show and has already been used by Fanny Lancer. Thanks a million. Most importantly, if you would like to join the debate, there is a link in the info box below this video. With the page you are currently listening to on mute, simply click on that link to join the debate and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules. Number 1, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. Number 2, if you are ejected, please do not try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You will be warmly welcome back on the next stream. With that, I'll ask once more to share the show on social media. And once again, if you are new to this channel or you have not done so already, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
And stuff, it's pretty awful. Have you seen any of the Dread stuff and all that? I mean, so... can you imagine, just put yourself in the shoes where, so people are saying these awful things to you all the time.
Yeah, but can I also say that I have never once said anything negative about Brenda until she did the file thing? I have never once done anything bad against her. I've always
Anthony, you made little clips about her, making out she's an agent and she's a liar and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
you even had a little dingle machine.
That's not
a little dingle machine that done little jingles.
Yeah,
so don't make out that you're innocent.
She said.
Don't make out you're innocent.
Crepuscular rays are parallel. That's fair game. If I say funny things or bad things, people do that.
They are parallel, Anthony.
No, they're not. Crepuscular rays are parallel.
Yeah.
Don't be ridiculous, Mark.
Yes, they are. Use that site you used earlier.
Right, I'm so taking that as a soundbite.
Use that site you was using earlier today, Wikipedia. Go and have a look at Wikipedia. You was using it today.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, go and have a look if they're parallel.
So you want me to look on Wikipedia right now that crepuscular rays are parallel on Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do know that already, though, right? Early.
I do know what?
That they're parallel.
Are they balls?
Okay.
So you want the Wikipedia link. So we're looking for the word parallel. Can you show me where it is?
Well, we know the light source they claim is all parallel, but it somehow makes hot spots and crepuscular rays.
Can you show me where the word parallel appears in here, Mark?
You know things that are parallel make crepuscular. You know, like if you're standing on a train track, right, and you look, and it gets thinner as it gets to the end, but it's actually parallel, right? But it looks like in your vision like it's a triangle.
Despite seeming to converge at a point, the rays are in fact near. Right, the rays are in fact near parallel shafts of sunlight. It doesn't say parallel; it says near. There are convergences of perspective.
Oh, but it has got the word parallel in it.
Hang on.
So it has got the words parallel then.
Yeah, but hang on. See, it says citation.
Yeah,
needed.
Nathan, someone's been sniping as well, by the way.
See how it says citation needed, though, Mark?
The only one you sniped is Mark.
It says citation needed. In other words, it's an assertion based on nothing.
All right.
Oh, come on, man.
But
you lost the court case, man.
It says parallel.
But you know what I mean?
You lost your court case, Riley.
Over a word, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you got to stop doing this.
He says he's done a law degree or something with law, right? And he claims that if you get arrested for an offence and you don't give your name, the police can't do anything with you. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
Well, think about
if I go and murder
someone,
and I don't give them my name, then they can't do nothing.
Don't follow common law.
Think about it
ridiculous
practically.
claim to make.
Think about it practically, Mark. What happens is you get arrested, and the next day you're presented in front of the magistrates, and you have
and you refuse bail.
Right, but what's the first thing
you in jail?
What's the first thing that the magistrates ask you to do?
Give you a name. And if you don't give your name, they send you to jail, Anthony.
Forever.
What do you mean forever?
Until you give the name.
Right, while you're getting into a wrangle-dangle, I'm going to interrupt you and introduce our new guest. So we've been joined by, is it Jermaine? Have I said your name correctly? Hello, Jermaine?
Yes, this is Jermaine.
Very pleased to have you here, Jermaine. Good to have you.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, Anthony, drunk and disorderly is one of the most pettiest charges. It's usually a fine, yeah? You go out and get drunk in your nearest town and get arrested and you don't give your name and you go to the magistrates and you refuse to give your name, they will put you in prison for 7 days.
Yeah, that's fine. But if you don't give your name and you've put in prison for 7 days, what happens after the 7th day?
They keep you in jail until
that's the sentence for drunk and disorderly, Anthony. if the sentence is, if you commit offence and the sentence is 15 years and you don't give your name, you'll go to prison for 15 years. They will take your fingerprint, then you will be in the system.
But what happens
whenever
if
you
the
get
judge
arrested
makes
again,
an error
they will know you.
name
They will know you. So saying that I don't have to give my name is utterly, it's just the words of a retard, really.
Yeah,
who
but do you
clearly does not know anything about law.
When you get arrested, they take your fingerprints.
Hang on. Do you understand that there's a case law that supports my position that people?
No, there's not.
Right? Do you want me to present it on screen right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's show us the precedent.
Give me a minute. Let me find it. Give me a sec.
Make sure it's not from like 1860.
No, it's 2015.
Okay.
So they committed an offence. They wouldn't give the name, so they just let them go.
Hang on.
Is that what you're saying?
He did time.
No, what he means is,
there's
no law in the UK which says that you have to give your name and address to the police.
Right.
If you commit an offence, then you have to give your name.
Right.
It's unlawful for you not.
What
to
if they're
give your
not
name.
assuming responsibility for the corporate fiction?
Hang on. When you get arrested, what's the first sentence that is said to you when you get cautioned?
They find out if you have probable cause.
Yeah, you do not have to say anything, okay?
Yeah, but that's not regarding your name, Anthony.
Yeah, it is, because it says
it's not. If you commit an offence,
say your name.
Right,
it's unlawful.
Listen,
it's unlawful for you not to give it. It's illegal for you not to give your name and address.
Mark, let's just say there's a crime.
That's an offence.
Mark, listen. Let's say there's a crime and somebody gets arrested. And the first thing they say when they get arrested is you do not have to say anything, okay? The guy says nothing. The prosecution have to prove that he did the offence. Not he as in the bloke, he as in the name and person.
That's got nothing to do with giving your name and address, Anthony.
Yeah, but if you don't give the name and address, say he doesn't give it.
If you don't give your name and address and they suspect you of a crime and they have sufficient evidence, if they haven't got the evidence, when they put you in front of the magistrate will not let the case proceed. If the prosecution outline a case with sufficient grounds, then because it has to be a decision whether you're put in front of the charged and put in front of the bench. You wouldn't be charged if there wasn't sufficient evidence to charge you, because that's unlawful.
Let me
as soon as the judge says probable.
Right, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you again. We've been joined by Epistemology for Truth. Very pleased to have you here, Epistemology.
It's as simple as that, Anthony.
Nath,
if you think that you can commit a crime and then not give your name and then they're just going to forget about it, it's ridiculous, Anthony.
Yeah,
all right,
there's videos of guys doing that and they stay in jail until.
Let me present evidence that's not showing that to be true, Mark. Nath,
yeah, can you mute
put a link
Seeker,
so I can read it? Can you put link in the side hangouts so I can read that, please?
I can.
Thank you.
Big shout out to Shield Scanner for hitting the super chat. Thanks a million.
You can all see it. Arrested and refused to give names. Daily Mail complains that they got unconditional bail. They weren't jailed. They were released. Okay, unconditionally released on bail. Right now, here's where it gets interesting. Daily Mail, 7th of November, carried an article about 3 so-called rioters who were arrested and refused to give their names to police. They were students, right? According to the article, they had their fingerprints, DNA, and photographs taken, but they couldn't put names to it because they wouldn't tell them who it was, but they know all their details. They spent 48 hours in custody. They finally got to the magistrate's court, only for the bench to let them go on unconditional bail. There's the article link. Let us know. Take a look at the relevant law.
So they did go to prison then, Anthony?
No, they were released.
He's on bail.
Well,
though.
they was
Bail
held.
means that he got
They was held, Anthony. He says there in the article.
Say that again, Mark.
It was held. They was held.
It was held?
They was held. It says in the article. They was held in custody.
Yeah, that was until they got to what do you call it?
To the magistrate. It's exactly what I said, Anthony.
Right, and then
the magistrate can throw any case out he wants, depending on the evidence and depending what the offence is, Anthony.
And at that time, depending on how busy the courts were, because the courts were really busy.
If the magistrate wanted to, Anthony, they could release you for any case.
Right, so
with bail conditions.
So if their offences were reasonably minor and they've already done 48 hours in custody, then he's just going to release them, isn't he? Because
right. So the phrase that
it's just the quickest way to deal with the case.
Guys, listen.
Public disorder. They've been punished.
Listen, guys. Listen. Public disorder offences range from Section 1 through to Section 5, and the most serious one is riot. That's where 12 or more people. Can you mute that microphone?
I'm going to tell him, Truth Seeker, every time you open your mic to interrupt, you interrupt anyway, the moment your mic's open.
So, the 3 suspected rioters, which is the most serious of the public disorder acts, offences.
No, the word before it is the most important, suspected, Anthony.
Yeah, but they were arrested, charged, and they appeared before the magistrate. They were free from court.
What is it with his mind?
Is that me? Or that's not me, that is it?
No, it's Truth Seeker.
It's Truth Seeker.
He opens his mind not to say anything, just so we can hear his background noise.
Yeah. Right. So
you should be concentrating. It sounds like you're doing something dangerous there.
3 suspected rioters walked free from court despite refusing to reveal their names. At the end of the day, there's a fixed penalty fine for failing to reveal your name, and it's £1,000, right? And
so it's against the law then,
right? But it's unenforceable.
My case in point. Thank you very much. I'll bow before the audience. Thank you.
Wait.
Thank you.
It's unenforceable without a name, so you get a punishment. But they can't
shut up! It's unenforceable. Don't be stupid. If they fine you £1,000 and you don't give them a name, they're just going to send you to prison until you've done time.
Mark, look, the 3 suspected rioters walked free from court despite refusing to reveal their names. They whooped with delight when a magistrate
held in custody, Anthony.
Wait, let's read it. They whooped with delight when a magistrate let them go, only making them promise to come back next year. The trio had been arrested after clashing with police in violent student protests in Westminster. They refused to give their names to officers, an act of defiance that continued when they were hauled before the bench. They were simply laughing at the law, according to Chris Hobbs, a retired metropolitan. I have never heard anything like it. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's another crushing blow to police morale after a few blah, blah, blah. How can it be possible that they are not held in custody? They were released. So it asserts the point that if you do not tell them who you are and they take your fingerprints and they take your DNA, yeah, they've got all your DNA, but if they don't know who it relates to, they can't do anything.
Riley, can you get to the relevant portion to this, please? I'm not trying to be rude, but please stop going on and on and on trying to make your case without the actual evidence.
Well, I don't know if we're presenting all the evidence.
Where does it say that the government could not prosecute them? Can I see that?
It says
where
walk
is that?
free from.
No. Because they chose not to go through the effort to prosecute them.
No.
Where does it say they cannot be prosecuted?
There's an important point that I think we're missing here, because if you read this full article, what they're actually charged with was
riots.
No, it isn't riot.
I knew that.
They're actually charged with not giving the names and addresses
because the original.
It says they were originally charged with obstructing a police officer. This was changed to a charge under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act, which makes it an offence not to reveal your identity.
Sorry, Jem, I can hardly hear you again, because every time somebody talks and Truth Seeker opens his mic, we lose them.
Truth, mute yourself, please.
He's doing it deliberately. He's got to be.
Did you get that?
No, not really.
So yeah, they were originally charged with obstructing a police officer, but this was changed to a charge under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act 2002, which makes it an offence not to reveal your identity to a constable when asked.
Right. Now the problem with that is, was it enforced? What happened? What was the conclusion?
Well, the thing is, mate, they served 2 days in jail for not giving their name. They could have given their name and they probably would have walked free.
Well, they were charged with riot.
Well, they weren't.
3 suspected rioters.
I'm on the article that you've provided. It says they were originally charged with obstructing a police officer. They were in a riot, but that doesn't mean they were charged with rioting.
But
that's quite serious. That's a really serious offence. And I think
can we at least agree that whatever they were originally charged with was more important and serious than not giving the name and address?
It was obstructing a police officer. That could be very, very minor.
That's not a serious charge, Anthony.
Yeah.
Just because I could be arrested for murder.
Esther Ransom got famously arrested and charged for that, didn't she?
All right, so I'll concede that point.
Doing street interviews.
Do you agree? Do you agree that their only detriment was they were made to promise to come back for trial next year?
What are you talking about?
Oh, so then they're still
in other words.
In
other words, they weren't kept in jail indefinitely like it was suggested that would happen.
No, I said they'd be kept in jail indefinitely if they committed a crime that states that. If you commit a crime, if you commit burglary and you get caught and you don't give them your name and address, all that will happen is you get refused bail, you'll be put on remand, then you'll get sentenced to Crown Court. When you go to Crown Court, if the judge says, right, you've been 6 months behind on remand and he feels that that's enough punishment, you'll get walk free from court. If he says that you've got 5 years, then you'll get 5 years and you'll go to prison.
Mark, have you got any evidence for that?
Oh, shut
up.
So you think people can just burgle houses and commit crime, and if they say to the police, I'm not giving you my name because Anthony Riley said so.
Let them out.
I'll tell you what, I'd hate to be in the court with you as master listener.
Hey, Riley, you've been asked
but they didn't let him go,
sharing,
so he has to
please.
come back to prison.
Riley.
Yeah, can you stop screen sharing, please, Anthony?
Thank you.
I was asked to present evidence that showed somebody was released. I presented evidence.
No, you didn't. No. Lie.
That was
lie.
Why is it a lie?
You said they got charged with rioting, and they didn't.
Right, they were released. They were not kept in jail. They were released.
Yes, they were. They was held for 48 hours, Anthony.
Right, 48 hours for not giving their name, Anthony. They could have given their name, and they probably would have got bailed straight away.
But the point was, I was put to proof.
Been told to return to court on Monday morning. Then they would have gone to court.
The point was, I was put to proof that failing to give your name, they'd keep you in jail. That was not the case.
Well, they did keep them in jail. And they took them to court, and then the court dealt with them.
That would have been over the weekend until Monday morning.
If the events had been more serious, the court would have dealt with them in a more serious way.
Yeah, this court's on a Saturday.
Go because you didn't give your name.
There's court Saturday morning, Anthony, so don't pretend that it's a weekend so they wouldn't go to court. And in London, courts run Saturday morning all the time.
Yeah, but the point was, I was asked to produce evidence that showed that somebody would not be kept in jail, and I did. But when you
didn't.
They were kept in jail. They were kept in jail for 48 hours.
His tactic is so ridiculous.
All right, they weren't prosecuted.
At home, you still have
yes,
to
they was. They was fined.
No, they weren't. They were made. They were released and asked.
They was held for 48 hours. That's good enough. That's time served, Anthony. When you go in front of a judge, that's time served. So that comes off whatever your penalty was.
For trial, that's what it said.
Riley, why are you ignoring the part where they say it's an actual offense to not reveal your name, your identity to the constable? Did he not say that?
One that carries no weight.
And one that wasn't implemented.
You got 2 days in
Anthony,
jail.
to prove your case, then show me someone who committed murder or burgled a house and got away with it.
At this point, you're still trying to get evidence that shows the point.
Your evidence just proved my case, Anthony.
No, you said
that the police wouldn't be able to do nothing, but I
don't think you understand what weight of evidence means, man.
Anthony, you said that the police couldn't do nothing. If you don't give their name, you said the police couldn't do nothing. That's your exact words.
And they were released.
I can demonstrate how the court.
No, they were released on hours, Anthony.
And taken to court.
And then released.
That's your case.
The court could have put them in jail.
Right, I'm going to have to be the voice of reason from the chat, which is none of you can be heard at the moment. So yeah, you're better off listening to me. Negator X from the chat says, "Can we talk about flat Earth, please?" And I've got to agree with him.
Oh, good.
No, but you should change the title to like Mark versus Riley, and you get tons of viewers, man. Seriously.
No, you should change it to Riley against everybody.
No, but it's Mark versus Riley. That's
connected
gold,
to the financial.
Cherry on top of the day, Riley.
Riley, you realize this is a lot harder for us since we have to all like fight and share time.
What do you?
We all want to.
Apart from that, Riley. Every time I come and talk to you, Riley, I've got to drive a stake in my head to try and lower my.
Let's just quantify Curve's assertion there. It's harder for you guys, right? There's Alex a baller, Curved a baller. I don't know who the Clouds one is. Who's the Clouds?
What was the reason I gave, Riley? Don't ignore that.
There's Jeremy for 3. There's
dishonest twat. Look what you're doing right now with this.
I'm quantifying your assertion that it's harder
because why, Riley?
Riley, not everything's about arguing every single little word.
It is when
there's 5 ballers in the chat.
This is the guy that can't win a court
case.
Real quick,
can't
read a dictionary.
What are you on about? Can't win a court case?
Right. I'm going to interrupt. Please let Truth Seeker speak because he's.
Legal fraud.
Say again, Truth Seeker.
The globe fraud. We need to understand the
legal
rob
fraud
a bank
so we can understand the globe fraud. Truth. Rob a bank and don't give the cops your name. See what happens.
Okay,
Riley,
let me explain. Do you guys understand grammar? Do you understand very simple grammar? And
you're the wrong person to be asking that.
Do you understand uppercase and lowercase letters?
You don't even know the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, dude, we've heard about legalese. We understand legalese.
Yeah, does anybody have a black law?
We've understand legalese before you did.
They wanted us to
have a black law. Does anybody have a black law dictionary?
Flat Earth.
Black law dictionary is a dictionary. It's not law. It's a dictionary. There's no. It's not law.
Exactly. And listen to me. There is a difference between uppercase and lowercase letters in the legalese.
No,
there is a distinction. Uppercase names refer to
We're supposed to be talking about flat Earth.
Right.
Hold on. Can you just let him make his point? You don't have to troll him.
For a corporate fiction.
Go listen to Carl Lentz. Let's talk about flat Earth.
No, let him talk.
He talks about law as if he knows anything about it, but he couldn't even define what common law is, even though he's using it.
Right, just let him get to the end of his point.
What's the difference between when a judge capitalizes an entity's name in all capital letters? Because it doesn't represent the man in the flesh and blood.
They use your social security number anyway.
It represents a corporate fiction. The legal fraud is directly connected to the globe fraud. It is directly all connected. We're all being used as slaves in a corporate system of servitude.
Cool, man. Right. So
and the police are supposed to be the ones scaring you so that you guys keep showing up to work, whoring yourself out every Monday.
Yeah, I definitely go to work every day because the police come. Definitely.
I'm curious to know, what are the implications?
You believe that people that put on Halloween costumes.
I'm always worried about being arrested if I throw a sickie.
Do you think because somebody has a hammer in their hand and a black gown, they can tell you whatever to do? You guys sound like you let fear and paranoia run your lives. You let people with Halloween costumes.
You let people in Halloween. They let fear and paranoia run their lives. What sound does that make?
Dictate your reality.
You
let people in Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
Master project.
And it's funny. I'm wearing a Halloween costume right now with a hard hat and a construction vest, but I'm getting paid really well for it.
Yeah, man. So you've got a job. You're just scared.
Every day that you're at $52 an hour.
It's a Halloween costume because look, I'm getting
black robes,
paid.
man. They made you go to work and
I'm getting paid to talk to you guys. I'm showing how my job is a Halloween costume.
You're only there because you're scared of the black robes, bro.
less we talk to him, the better. So what do you want, Nathan? You had indicated you wanted us to get back to flat Earth. Now you're telling us let him make his. What do you want us to do?
Why don't we hear from Jermaine? He hasn't spoken.
Yeah, all of this fraud connects. That's why you guys need to hear this. The legal fraud connects to all the financial fraud.
Or we could just hear Truth say the same thing over and over again.
Well, he's trying to make his point.
You guys keep assuming responsibility for a corporate fiction, and I think it's funny.
I tell you what, we agree with his point. He wins. You win, Truth.
But the question is, why do you assume responsibility for a corporate
when you start talking?
Why are you assuming responsibility
say,
for a corporate fiction?
I don't know what you said.
And why are these judges
You'll do the same thing,
fraud?
from the sounds of it. So why
This
are
is
you
the problem.
doing
We're going to spend 20 minutes with every single time I keep calling him Chris Truth Seeker. Every time Truth Seeker tries to make his point concisely, 3 people troll him. So yeah, we're going to hear the same thing 5 times while he tries to say one sentence.
Yeah, but we get it. Like, the man's getting us down, and like legal names are fraud.
Yeah, but I've got
the man is an illusion. The man is an illusion, and you're getting yourself down. That's the issue.
I really don't feel like that, but okay.
Of course you don't. You've convinced yourself that you've always right, and you could never have been tricked into a life of servitude.
I'm curious. What are the implications?
Just don't let it worry me that much.
Implications of this. Does that mean that I'm a slave, that I can't choose not to work?
Yes, because the very credit that how does everybody get?
But there's like homeless people. I see homeless
guarantee
people every day on my way to work. How is it that
Exactly.
they're not being forced? How are they that they're not being forced to work?
Is the homeless people growing or shrinking? Tell me that.
They would under socialism. Just saying.
Okay, so real quick, does anybody have any idea how big
the population as a whole?
There.
So they're probably
does
growing.
anybody have any? Does anybody have any idea where banks draw their credit from?
Wait, are they forced to
Wait
work?
a minute. Let's finish with your other thing first, Truth. Let's not just jump around here like you like to do. What are the implications of this slavery that you're speaking of? Please explain.
Well, hold on, because real quick, I will answer that. But real quick, I just want to let this be clear. People that don't accept gish galloping don't have the qualities of an objective truth discerner. That's just something that needs to be stated.
You
But
don't
okay,
know
now
what
repeat the
gish
question.
galloping is, then.
Honestly, I don't really know what gish galloping is.
Gish galloping is
It's
how
just
you
like
refuse to
word
talk
salad.
about any particular assertion you make. When we go into the nitty gritty of it, you refuse to go into any details on anything you say, which is called a gish gallop by definition.
Yeah,
No, it isn't. I'm revealing full context. When you guys
Okay, yeah, we're definitely getting sidetracked, so I'm going to turn you down and do another introduction. So we've been joined by Paper Explanator. Very pleased to have you here, Paper.
is directly tied to all of the other deceptions.
How you doing, Paper?
Okay, Truth, please tell me.
Hey guys.
This slavery that you speak of, please tell me what's the practical implications of how I am a slave because my names are capital letters in all government documents. Please tell me.
Okay, in legalese, just like legalese tends to not make any kind of practical sense, they deem all capital names as fictitious corporate entities. And I guarantee you don't sign your name in all capital letters.
I just asked you, what is the practical implications? Please tell me a real world consequence.
Okay, the practical implications are the courts are operating in fraud because they're not respecting common law. So when the judge reads the corporate fictitious entity in all capital, hold on, let me speak.
That's not practical. Practical.
Let me speak, sir. When the judge actually opens his mouth and speaks your name, there is no verbal way to tell if he's reading the corporate fiction or your God-given name in the flesh and blood. There is no way to distinguish.
That's not an example, Truth.
That is the example. There's no way to distinguish when he reads verbally your all-capital name and your lowercase.
Here, I'll make it easier for you to answer the question, Truth. Give me an example of something that I have to deal with in my everyday life that actually affects me in some way, and how I would be beneficially affected in another way if such a thing didn't exist.
Sir,
what you claim
do you
is
have
true.
any bills? Sir, do you have any bills?
Of course I do.
Okay, where do you think the legal tender? There's no real money in this world we live in. And no, there is no government. The United States of America capitalizes its name. It is a corporate fiction. So there is no money left in this world. It's all legal.
What a surprise.
They put a limitless almost value of ledger balances. They're actually open accounts because any of us can use them. They're open accounts, but they'll be reversed. So this impacts you immensely because you're getting chumped. You're the one actually getting chumped. Slaves had it better than you.
It's not the world, Truth. It's not the truth. It's not the world, Truth.
Just let me
it's
finish.
just America.
I'm 2 seconds away from being done. You're working for your own value. You're being paid with your own value. And then they're charging interest on it. You're getting scammed worse than any slave ever did.
The rest of the world goes by gold standard. Their money is backed by gold. So it's not the world.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
that's
guess
not
what? If the
actually
world is
true.
bigger, if the world
well,
is bigger,
a majority
then
of the
gold,
major backers are of gold.
diamonds, food, and clean water aren't scarcities. They're actually abundances. And as soon as you show that all this stuff is in abundance, you tear their scarcity economic models out the effing window. So
This is Carl Lentz right here. You're just regurgitating Carl Lentz.
All of this economic depression and all of this stuff is done by tactful design. It's not abundance. Nature always provides abundance. The fact that we got homeless people and we're all working for meager paychecks and people are begging for super chat money is pathetic because we're all being used as slaves and there are people defending
Super
the system.
chat.
Wait a minute, but when I work, I get paid, and then I can use that money to buy real goods and services, right?
Where is that money derived from? Where does the bank derive this value from? That's the question. And we know it's derived from our flesh and blood body.
It's derived by the confidence of the currency, by the American population.
It is derived from the flesh and blood bodies traded on bond securities of your birth certificate. Okay. End of story. Your chattel.
All fiat currency is backed. Is backed by those that trade in that currency, right? He's gone.
Yeah, he'll be back in a second.
But it's the same thing for cryptocurrency, right? Like cryptocurrency doesn't have any intrinsic value other than the confidence of people to use it, to pay. Right? Truth. So if
listen,
there's no goods and services represented by that cryptocurrency would have no value.
Cryptocurrencies are just fiat 2.0. Cryptocurrencies are fiat 2.0. They're trying to suck everybody in so they can watch what everybody's spending. It's a joke.
Yeah, but It's really no different than gold. Gold has very limited intrinsic value in it. It can't feed you. There's a lot of things it can't do. So even if you're talking about
the banks derive the value from our flesh and blood bodies. That's where the value is derived from.
It's always come from there.
That's true to a degree.
Right, yeah. Now we've got lots of you talking. I'm going to do another introduction, so you can't be heard when I'm talking. Just so you know, you can carry on talking, but you won't be heard. I'm going to introduce Lewis, whether you like it or not. So we've been joined by Lewis Hackett. Very pleased to have you here, Lewis.
Yay, Lewis Hackett.
Hey.
Yay. All right, now the issue is, where do the banks draw this
our money's
from? Where does the
used
value
comes from
derive
our work
from?
and always has, so it doesn't matter what you
No,
say it's coming
comes from our
it doesn't
flesh
matter.
and blood bodies. It comes from
yeah, that's fine, Truth. What's the problem? That's fine. What's the problem?
The problem is we are getting scammed. The value is us.
Truth.
We're putting in work and getting cooperation out.
We're being forced.
What do you think is going to happen if we stop cooperating?
We are being forced.
What do you think is going to happen if we stop cooperating?
Nature always provides abundance.
Nature wants us dead.
No, oh
Nature
my God! You
wants
fooled
us
yourself. You have
dead.
fooled yourself. Man wants you dead. Nature wants you to thrive in abundance.
Nature wants us dead. Man cooperates with each
have
other.
never been in
Nature always provides abundance.
You are ignorant.
Where the hell does that
You're
come from?
ignorant.
When
You're
man
very plain
cooperates,
right
we
there.
build the pyramids,
Nature?
we build aqueducts, we build massive infrastructure.
Where were the
we grow
materials
food,
derived
we
from,
supply
Lewis?
infrastructure and well-being
Where
for
were those
everybody. We
materials
make
derived from?
healthcare. We make the military.
Where were those materials
We make
derived
every single
from?
industry. We make automobiles.
abundance of
When
nature.
man cooperates, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. But when we're divided, nature destroys us.
Where are those
End of
supplies for
story.
all those great accomplishments you claim that man
Us.
did? Where did they
Us.
come from?
Us.
Nature. They're all derived from
Us.
nature. Every
They
single
all come
thing
from
in this world
us.
is
They come
derived
our
from the natural
ingenuity
world.
and our minds. One of those things is money.
Man is foolish
What is
enough
the
to think he
problem?
can outdo nature,
What
and he
is
gets
the
burned every
problem?
single
Earlier
time
you
he
said
tries.
that we're worse
He
off
gets
than slaves. A
burned
slave
every
has
single
no
time he
control
tries to
over
go
any of the
outside of
future
nature.
decisions
You know
that it
this.
makes, including the food it eats and when. A slave has zero control. In what way are we worse off than a slave who has no prospects for the future? None.
So you think,
In what
just
way are we
Lewis,
worse?
real quick, I want to hear you defend this. You think it's okay
I want to hear you
work,
answer what I just asked you. I want to hear you answer what I just asked you. You
think it's
you
okay
are
to
not
work
a
for you?
respectable person. All right, I'm
You
not going
think
to
it's
answer
okay?
anything
You think
that you
it's
ask.
okay to work for your God-given value and then have them charge you interest
I'm
on
not
it?
going to answer anything that you ask me. I just laid it all out for you. I
Keep
just
paying
laid
your
it all
taxes,
out.
buddy. Keep being a good little
That's
servant. Keep paying your
fine.
taxes.
That's fine. There's
Keep
nothing
believing
wrong
in the
with
Halloween-
paying taxes.
Keep,
There's
keep
nothing wrong
believing
with
in
it.
the Halloween costumes. Keep believing in
Okay, I hope you're all enjoying the debates thus far. It's been very entertaining from where I'm sat, but I will run through my links as we have a little under 1 hour left on this broadcast. If you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel as Shill Scanner and Fanny Lancer have done so already, hit that super chat, and most importantly, if you would like to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link below this video. Please do not swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. If you are, you will be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. If you've not done so already, please share the show on social media, and once more, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
Yeah, dude, even when making this much money, you don't accumulate any. We're all on the treadmill. Nobody's saving any money.
Oh
I know
my
people
God.
making double. I know
How many
people making double
decisions
what I
can you make? How
Nobody
much freedom
is
do you
saving
have?
money.
How much
You know what?
freedom do you have to make choices?
I don't have a lot.
How much?
Not a lot.
How many decisions can you make?
Infinitely.
Okay, so you're free.
No, I'm free. Yeah, you're right. But there is a system of willful ignorance being in
A
place
slave
on
can't
us.
even choose what food they eat and when.
Are you free to go move to another country and live in another country and work in another country that has laws that you prefer?
There are no laws I prefer. The courts are a sham from
No,
the
I just
get-go.
asked you a question.
You want to
Are
be a
you
king.
free?
You want to be a fucking god that everybody gives stuff to.
No
Sorry,
swearing,
I swore.
please. Come on, no swearing.
Bye-bye.
I haven't
But dude,
ejected him.
it's a good point, right? So, what you believe that there should be no government? Are you completely like an ANCAP guy?
No, I'm not, dude. You're trying to paint me black and white.
Okay,
I know
no,
what
I'm
you're
just
doing.
finding out where you are.
No,
I'm not
you're trying to paint me black and
No,
white.
no,
I get
I'm
I
trying to
get
find
what
you.
you're doing.
No, dude.
I want to focus on something simple.
So dude, tell me what you
clearest
think.
example of this fraud are search warrants. If a judge misspells or forgets to cross the T or dot the I,
Yeah,
on
we looked that up,
anything
and
on
that's
a search
total
warrant, and the
nonsense.
name
We looked that up, and
is
that's
proven to
total
be
nonsense.
fraudulently on there.
Show me
invalid.
one case where that was the case, where it was thrown out because there was a misspelling on
Every single time.
Show me one link.
I know
Link me-
a person, Michael Cushion. Go look him up. He had his whole house raided, and because they spelled one little letter in his last name wrong, all the evidence they found with that incorrect document got thrown out because they found it under fraudulent premises. It's as simple as that, and there's precedent every day. The fact that you guys ignore this it's obvious.
Well, go into the jungle and show us how to
link me to
live.
that case, because it sounds like total BS, or you're neglecting some major aspect that you're missing out. So why don't you link me to it?
The name on the search.
So
it's
they've
the
made
name on
this
the search
wicked. So
warrant.
they've made this wicked system that they slave us all in Truth Seeker, but we can apparently
just
we
listen,
can
it's a-
get out of it
it's
just
a-
because they forgot to put our names in capital letters. Is that what you're telling me?
No, we can't. We actually can't
Does
because
that
the current
makes
laws, the
plausible
current
sense
courts
to you?
follow
Does it?
admiralty law.
Oh, that's perfect.
No, just
That's
listen.
perfect.
Yeah.
Listen.
That makes
This is why
perfect sense
sovereign-
to me.
This is why sovereign citizens are mocked. Yes. Listen, this is why sovereign citizens are mocked. They're going into admiralty law courts expecting them to actually follow common law. These courts are
You don't
sham
even know what
courts
those
here to
terms
defend
mean.
the
We
fraud
even had a flat earther
institution.
yesterday
These
tell you that
courts-
admiralty law is
these
maritime
courts-
law.
For real, they're mocked.
These courts
because
are here
they
to
think
fill up
the
private
14th
prisons.
Amendment it wasn't ratified. It didn't make it through. It lost by 13 points.
Do you
What
guys know
are
anything
talking
about
the sovereign
private prisons?
citizens
Do you know
didn't make
anything
it.
about private prisons and the contracts that they fill to keep them 80% full? These are the
that's
courts you're
bullshit.
defending.
Sovereign
These are the
citizens or
courts.
the
These are the
prison
courts
thing
you
is
guys
terrible.
are defending. The private prison industrial complex that wants to keep them 80% full at all times.
Hey, True.
regardless
That's
of crime
terrible.
rate.
No one's
You
disagreeing
guys
with
are
that.
defending fraud.
Why
in
are
its
you
very-
changing the
in its very
subject
most basic
again?
premise.
Yeah, no one's
Yeah,
disagreeing with that.
You won't talk about one specific thing down to its nitty gritty detail. As soon as we start poking you about one thing, you jump to some totally other thing out of left field, like some crazy other tangent.
That's what all the flat
flat
earthers do. That.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. I'm just going to make a quick introduction to Ellen, who's joined us now. If I can just interrupt for a second and say hello. She's saying, can we talk about flat earth? And again, I'm inclined to agree. So if I can say hello to Ellen. How are you doing?
The problem is, Truth will jump into some other left field topic in about 5 seconds.
This was your fault, Nathan. You said
Sorry, guys. Can I just?
Say hello.
I'm trying desperately to introduce our new guest. So if I can just say a quick hello to Ellen.
Hello. How are you?
Hi, Ellen.
Did you get sniped out? Because I didn't remove you.
We just need to know the globe fraud is connected to
Well,
the
somebody else did.
fraud.
It's
Sorry.
Ellen.
Yeah, someone coming to snipe you.
That's my middle name. Somebody else removed me, so I came in on another account. I assume that that's okay.
Yeah, no.
Fuzzy Bunny account.
If you've
Yeah,
been
come on,
sniped
let's
out,
talk
yes,
about how
absolutely,
long Flower
definitely. Yeah, you can rejoin
Yeah, I
on a
like
different account
Brandad.
if you've been sniped
People
out,
kick
because
out
that's not
Brandad
your
for
fault.
sucks.
If
Yeah,
you
I was
remove
sniped
for,
out.
if you
Because
remove
as
for
we
swearing,
know, flat
that's-
earthers are so honorable and respectable people.
Yeah, I think it was Riley.
I don't know who sniped you, but in any event, if you've been sniped, yes, obviously you can rejoin.
Yeah, it don't make no difference. We don't need evidence, so just say it's Riley.
All right, so who's flat here? Do we have any flatties on the panel?
What about Jermaine? We haven't spoken Jermaine yet.
I believe in the globe. I do believe in the heliocentric model.
Thank you.
I heard.
Nice.
Get him. Get that guy.
Come on, Truth.
What's your best evidence of flat Earth, paper?
That is the best evidence. Paper's flat, so ergo the Earth's
Perspective,
flat.
man, it's perspective.
It's
God
flat
damn
because
I can't argue that.
I would like to ask Truth, do you have a flat Earth map?
Mm.
That's a good question.
Do you have a map, Truth?
Where's your map, bro?
Suspiciously quiet. I wonder why that is.
One that doesn't use the globe model.
Don't blame him. There's 8 of you against him. Every time he opens his mouth,
It's
every
only
time.
one question.
Come on, Truth. Where's the map? Where's the map, bro? Where's the map? Give us your map.
Who is
Where's the map, bro?
Who is that dickhead who keeps going on saying the globe earthers, they haven't got a single map that's accurate?
David.
It's David.
Oh, that's just so incredible. Why can't he grasp the situation that the flat Earth map can't be projected into 2 dimensions? It doesn't work.
Well, he thinks in 1 dimension.
Well,
So 2D and 3D are
does he
beyond.
think at all?
Well, he could be trolling. He could be trolling, I suppose. I don't know.
I think
I
he
used to
probably
think
is.
that. I don't think he is anymore. I really don't. I used to think
It's so
he
hard
was.
to
I
tell.
think he's serious.
I like Dave. He's a good guy, man.
Oh God!
I think if you got him on any top, if you had a barbecue and a case of beer, he'd probably be just fine.
Yeah.
You could always talk to Bobo.
He's got a good sense of humor, you know, and he's a lot of fun, I think, actually.
He says there isn't a single flat Earth map that's accurate.
you
No,
say,
because
Truth?
the only one that works is when it's on a globe. Oh,
Truth.
God almighty. You don't get it. What the hell are you talking about, man?
You want to take a shot at that, Truth? The question.
Well, a paper explainer, angular dimension, means that you're coming from a fixed point of view.
Well, indeed. It's from a given point.
A given point.
Is it given or fixed? I forget which.
Given. I've been through it for days. It's given.
That's a
his
given.
argument. All right, so Truth, what's up with your map, bro? According to Black's Law Dictionary, what is the flat Earth map?
Yeah, there you go.
He's only talking in the green. I think he's done.
Well, his claim that capital letters refer to corporate entities is false. I looked it up, and there's laws that require contracts to make key phrases or terms in the contract conspicuous in a font conspicuously larger than the other fonts, so that you aren't hiding things in the small print. And so it's common practice to simply capitalize key words and phrases in legal documents, and that's what these people are seizing on as evidence of. It means something, a corporate entity, but it's really just a law that means you have to make the documents clear and readable and have key terms easy to locate. So you can just scan the document, look for capitalized words or phrases, and you can come to a key point in the contract.
The strange thing to me is this bizarre idea that these powers that be are somehow like they have to make the names cap to do what they're doing, because if they were lowercase, then they would be incapable of doing whatever they're supposedly doing. Right? Like, in other words, it's like, oh man, we got him because it's all caps. But if it was lowercase, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Don't they also say something about you can't put the man in jail, but you can only put the person in jail or something like that? what are they saying there?
Do we want to?
Well, I think that what they
It
mean
reminds me,
is the person.
There's
the
this
person
funny
stole?
sovereign citizen talking to a judge.
So there is currently one gap. There is 9 people in the hangout at the moment, so it'd be great if we had somebody from the Flat Earth side, as there is currently 7 participants from the Globe side. And we've been joined by P. Mars, but I think someone else has dropped. So yeah, it's still one gap. Great if Flat Earther could join.
That's why sovereign citizens mock.
Can you explain it where we can understand you?
Law courts trying to the judges don't follow common law because they're part of this legal fraud.
Truth, you don't even know what common law is. Truth, you don't even know what common law is. How can you be talking about this subject more? You do not know what common law is.
Will say it grants many more protections and rights than admiralty law because the admiralty law says the judge can make up the law as he goes along.
Admiralty law is maritime law, and it's not at all what the courts use anyway. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Sorry to interrupt again. We've been joined by Make4 and P. Mars. If I could just say a quick hello to P. Mars first of all.
Hello, money has enslaved us.
It's like...
Bear with me, Truth Speak.
It's like
nearly,
you going
nearly
to
there,
somebody
Truth Speaker.
you know
Nearly
is
there, nearly
corrupt.
there. If I can just say hello to Make4 as well. How you doing, Make4?
Hey mate, good. You get a refreshment. PMars, is PMars a flat earther or is he a
Paper. I'm nearly there. Paper. I just need to say hello to our new guest. How you doing, Make4?
Look, I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Very pleased to have you here. Thank you, and thank you, P. Mars.
I'm not a flat earther, but I know a little bit about how the world works, and I know that money.
You know a little bit about the world works.
Indeed.
Oh, here comes the
In
voice
what
of reason. Here
respect?
comes the voice of reason. He's so worldly expertise and firsthand knowledge.
Well, I read the books written by the people who control us, so I get an idea of how we are enslaved.
Dude, I got a neighbor that reads every religious text and believes every word out of them. Does that make him valid?
Sorry, PMars.
So, what is your point?
How are we enslaved, PMars? How are we enslaved?
How are we enslaved?
Where sovereign citizens go wrong is they're going into a corrupt court expecting the judge to play fair. But the judge can make up the rules as he goes along. He can complain about people gish galloping. He can make whatever he says up as he goes. It's not fair. It's not justice.
Well, there's like a small group of people who own everything, and they are our owners. We are owned. We are enslaved. We are not allowed to make decisions on things that like affect the economy. For instance, in America, you can't vote on people that affect the economy, like the head of the Federal Reserve Board.
Do you ever own your property in America? Are you ever the number one head honcho on your property, or does the state own it?
The state can take your property away when you like license. That's why you have to like license your cars and shit and all that.
But even when you own it, you don't really own it. You're paying taxes.
You're paying taxes.
That would be the case. That would be the case in an ANCAP society, where when you own it, you don't truly own it because anyone with more power than you could come over and take it.
You can always drum up charges.
There's no inherent. Human beings have no inherent title to land or resources, right? They're only granted. They're only granted. That's all. You don't have any inherent right.
According to Agenda 21, they're going to end all our ability to own property. So we won't even be able to own anything in the near future.
They can't even keep the globe deception from us. I don't think we got to worry about Agenda 21.
Where's your map of the flat Earth?
The globe.
Where's your map of the actual Earth? I don't claim it's flat.
It's called the globe.
Yeah, it's called Google Earth. You can download it. It's free.
Oh.
Hey, Curved.
So you
How
made
you
it.
doing, buddy?
So let's see. You went with the model with the most baseless assumptions. You went with the model with the most baseless assumptions that don't match our stationary world. Okay.
Where's yours?
Sounds like a good
Where's
model.
your
Sounds like
model?
a really good model.
Where's your model?
We got the model constructed from observation.
I don't claim to know the entirety of it. I'm not going to make a
So
model.
we have one that
the
works.
entirety of.
We have one that works that predicts eclipses to within milliseconds, microseconds. You have one that can't do anything.
You don't even have.
I don't have a model. I'm not claiming to know the shape.
That's right, and
So,
you can't.
Yeah,
have one.
of course I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
You
You're
can't
trying to
have
impose a fallacy onto me.
You
You're
We have
trying
a
to
model that
impose
works. We
a
have a model
fallacy
that
on me.
works.
I never claimed I had a model, and I never claimed I knew the
can't.
entirety of the thing we're living on.
You
So
can't
if you
have
don't know the shape of it, then how can you say it's not a globe?
Because there's no curvature.
one. And you've been all over the world to know that.
But
There's no spin and there's no curvature.
That
I've
doesn't
done
make
the
any
test.
sense, though. You can't
I've
say I
done
don't
the
know the
test.
shape of it and then say it's not a globe.
There's no
Because if it
spin
isn't
and there's
curved,
no
it's got to
curvature.
be flat. What other shape is there?
In the
Is it
Michelson-Morley
triangle?
experiment, they shot particles
Oh, here we go.
perpendicular,
Wow, that's not
perpendicular to the
shape.
motion of the Earth, the
Misquoting
supposed motion of the
experiments
Earth,
again. Well
and,
done, Truth Seeker. You
and they
won the
shot
award
them.
tonight.
They shot them directly against that motion,
That's
supposed
not
motion.
shape of the
Oh, we're
Earth.
going to have another 20-minute session of him trying to get his
And
point
they
out while
arrived
you
at
all
the same
troll
exact
him.
time,
Come on,
proving
just
there's
let him
no
get his
motion.
point out. Let's not have 20 minutes of this. Just let him get it out, then challenge him.
Michelson-Morley disproved the
Oh.
ether, not the shape of the Earth.
No, they actually proved the ether. There's
No,
two
that's
school of
false.
thoughts. We got the indoctrinated
No, there isn't.
and the independent thinkers. And
No,
the
there
independent
isn't.
thinkers know.
Brenda,
this
you're
proves-
not helping.
Independent thinkers.
We know this. You can keep trying to brainwash me, but we know the facts. We
How
read
can
the
you-
you
research
don't.
for ourselves, and we
The
know
experiment-
we're motionless.
Truth.
The light propagate, the particles, whatever, propagate through the ether. We know it.
Truth. Look at my screen share. This finishes the flat Earth.
I'm in a bad area. I'm just getting your avatar. I'm not even lying. I just see your avatar. I'm in a bad reception.
Alright. Look
Yeah.
at
If
that.
you can explain it.
He has a tin can and string.
Michelson-Morley and the Ari's failure have to do with how light hits the Earth from the sun. I don't understand how people in geocentrism and flat Earth use these experiments to prove their points.
No, they just prove we're motionless and it proves the ether. I didn't say anything else. It just proves the ether and it proves that we're stationary. That's
And you're
entirely all
talking
it
about
says.
the
No,
shape.
but the experiments didn't have to do with anything about the motion of the Earth. They're about light
Truth. Look
propagating
at my
from the sun.
screen. That's simple.
But the experiment was done shooting particles perpendicular to the supposed motion and against it. So there was no delay. And if there was motion, there'd be a delay between those two tests. So
Yeah, but what I'm telling you is this experiment was not trying to see if the Earth was motionless or anything like, or geocentric or anything like that. It was all about light coming from the sun and how it traveled through a vacuum. They didn't understand. They
So
thought
are
there
you
was a
claiming it's
material-
impossible to find a secondary? Are you claiming it's impossible to find a secondary result from your intended result?
I'm claiming that an experiment that is about a substance called ether, which was hypothesized to exist in the vacuum of space to allow light to hit the Earth from the sun, has nothing to do with whether the Earth is in motion or geocentric. And I don't understand.
No, the fact that
where
both,
people get
the
that
fact that
confused.
both tests,
Mars
the
is
fact
correct.
that there was no delay, the fact that there was no delay in both tests showed that we were motionless. They weren't trying to prove that, but they did. You got it?
No.
Okay, so they set up an experiment and they accidentally proved something. Okay, I got it.
How do flat earthers explain this photo?
I can see it now. I can see your image now. I can see it.
Personally, I think it's like something different. Like, those horizon shots do sort of kill the old flatty thing. Like, especially when you see the sun.
How come all your images?
Game over.
How come all your images of curved water is completely horizontal and planar?
That's the other thing. Like, yeah, like it's weird. It's like it's a
No,
weird
every time
horizon
you guys show
line that
images of
seems
curved
flat,
water,
but
every time you try to show the curve, it's a completely planar flat line.
No,
it's
it's
so
not.
funny.
No, that's not true.
No, it's true. Go put that straight line up to the horizontal line.
it kills the flat. It doesn't kill the sun movements that are weird. The fact that gravity isn't really affecting us at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Truth
they don't
Seeker,
believe in
explain why that should be curved. Explain why looking left to right should be curved downward to the left and to the right. Why? Why should it be?
Because on a sphere, the curve never
Yeah.
stops and is continuous.
What are you looking at?
That's why.
You're looking
I'm
at a
supposedly
circle.
looking at an ocean on a ball.
You're looking at the outline
But
of a
there's no
circle
curve. You're showing
around
me a
you.
completely planar horizontal line. You're showing me a horizontal line and telling me
Hey,
to look for curves.
Truth,
It's a joke.
you're about 0.04 degrees above that horizontal circle. Do you get that?
I don't care how many degrees I am. I don't
You're
care how
basically
many.
looking
I don't
in
care.
line.
Equal distance from wherever you're standing at on the Earth.
I
It's
don't
always
care how
equal
many
distance,
tooth
so it's
fairy
going to look
degrees.
flat.
When you're down close to the Earth like that, there's no reason to even expect to see curvature in the direction that you're expecting. It is a straw man.
Also, the amount of that we're seeing from left to right in illustrations like that is a very small section. It's only a few miles at best, whereas the distance from the eye to that Seattle tower is many more miles. So it's not an equal comparison.
So anyway, like if you look at that Red Bull dude go up into the sky and he's like jumping out of that thing, they're using the curved lens or whatever it is. That footage actually does like curve back and forth. Like it'll go down and make it look like it's curved Earth, and then it'll flip the complete other way and make it look like it's a reverse. Like
yeah, that's the lens. That's what that kind of lens will do.
Right.
Well, he never made that. He never made that jump, though, did he? He got denied.
No, he made it. It was done, and like I think it's weird that lens can actually curve it all the way up the other way, like, and make it look like it's, you know, what is it, concave?
It's a wide angle lens. It does that. It distorts things around it.
Why
If you have a line through the center of a fisheye lens, there is no distortion of that line.
Okay, so like, why do we always use fisheye lenses up at the high altitudes?
We don't always. It's beneficial in some cases to try to get maximum view. We do not always. So
there are people. Yeah, there are people who have used rectilinear lenses in cameras attached to high altitude balloons, and they have. Yeah, he was a flat earther, and he showed his footage showed that the Earth is curved because the lens was on. The lens was unbiased.
Look him up. His name is Dwayne Kellum. You can find him on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care who it is.
You
Like
don't care?
I'm saying,
He's
I've seen way too many things to know that people going up in balloons and airplanes and stuff. No matter how high you go, it remains like that flat eye level horizon.
That's not true, though. We just told you it's not true. We just told you it's not true.
Even those things do seem to go behind it, like, and
That's
it's
wrong.
quite well they do.
We just told you it's not true, and we told you who to look up to show to yourself that it isn't true.
Some guy. Okay, you want me
No,
to
they gave you his name.
Dwayne.
Yes.
Look,
You were given his full name, Dwayne Kellum. So don't play like you weren't given the full name.
Dwayne Kellum? What is it?
Kellum. Dude, I'll link you to it, okay? We can talk after the show. I'll
spell
link
it out to
We're
me.
not going to watch it now.
I just want to
It's
ask
like,
the flat earthers a question relating to what y'all are talking about, and that is, why is the standard of evidence for a globe different than it is for a flat Earth? I'm asking that to flat earthers.
Well, I'm not really 100% flat, but like, what do you mean? Like that? How? What's
Because
the
in other
difference?
words, when a YouTuber gives you something that supports the flat Earth, it is taken on face value. However, when someone who gives you evidence that supports other than flat Earth is fake, or it has a higher standard.
That's a good question.
Basically what you're saying is like, how can we just prove it off just like face, like some dude's photo? Oh, this is the beach. Look how flat it is, kind of thing. Like, is that what you're saying?
Like what you just said? You just said that this guy, you know, when they mentioned the guy that did the balloon footage, you just said this guy. But if it supported what you believe, then you wouldn't be saying that.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused about what you're saying, but like, I don't understand why it has to be a certain guy. Like when everyone has cameras, and like, you know, there's people with weather balloons out there that probably can send up cameras.
There is not a single high altitude balloon footage that you'll find anywhere on YouTube that shows a flat horizon.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't.
There is.
I don't understand the denial. Like, I don't
Every
understand.
single one that does uses a fisheye lens with the horizon not passing through the center of frame, which means it's distorted upward.
There's so many, man. You can have a look. Like,
None of them. Even if you link me to one of them, and I'll show you the point where it passes through the center of the frame and clearly shows curvature. And the only time on a fisheye lens that you can determine curvature The true curvature of the horizon is when it passes through the center of frame, because any other position on the lens will be distorted.
Kara did a good video about that.
Yeah, Kara did that by photographing a checkerboard pattern and showing you that all the lines, all the straight lines that intersect the center of the lens are straight, but any lines that don't pass through the center of the lane are distorted.
Yeah, and no flat earthers refuted that. Well, they tried to.
Take any GoPro, any kind of fisheye lens, take a picture of a checkerboard pattern. You'll see that all the lines that pass through the center of the frame will be straight, and all the lines that don't go past through the center of the frame will be distorted.
Yeah, so you're saying the fisheye is not a viable source, is basically what
No,
you just
the
said.
fisheye is fine as long as the horizon passes through the center of the frame.
And it'll look dead flat.
No, it will be whatever the shape is. And the example that I used was on one of these cams was I took a picture of the horizon, a screenshot of the horizon, passing through the center of frame when it was just launched near the ground. And then I took a screenshot of the same camera when it was up at altitude and the horizon passed through the center of frame. And you could clearly see curvature in the high altitude footage and no curvature in the low altitude footage, which shows that the lens is not distorting at sea level. I can link you to that.
Personally, I think we should throw cameras out the window because like this shit isn't working. Like if you just use your brain and like think about like
what are you
the rockets. Just think about the little rockets on the back of the moon that push the moon around and keep it going at that speed.
You're
just to keep it away from being sucked into
You're
the
just
earth.
you're just trolling.
You got me.
You're
No,
just
well,
trolling.
Can you tell me what's keeping the moon going?
That was good though.
It just free spins in.
Nice try, but
okay, here's an example I have for you, Meat 4. Can you click this link for me here? I'm putting it in the group here. Can you click that for me? Can you please click that link for me?
This one here's a good one that I'm watching now. Wow, that looks so curved. Wait, did you see it?
Hey, I'm back
It's
from getting
all that
sniped.
curvature.
I thank whoever loves me so much. Try to ban my, free
If you were
Check it
sniped,
out.
you wouldn't be able to come back
real
here.
quick, why does
Massive curvature here. Oh my god.
Why does every image
That's
of
below
water
the
is
center
completely
line.
level and plain?
And it's
Right,
still
exactly,
curved.
which
Curve
means
right
it's
there.
distorted up.
You can see curve right
Horizontal
there.
water is not curved. Horizontal water is not curved. I repeat.
Okay, Truth, we're having a conversation with Make 4, so please mute yourself for now. We're letting another
But
fire
the thing is, right,
for the next couple hours, please mute yourself.
we can, whether
So
it's the damn
Make 4,
curve.
can you please click that link that I put in the group in the group chat right there?
I don't really give a shit, man. Like, I don't, because I've seen it all. Like,
Well, it's being presented to the
Okay,
audience.
so basically what you're saying is any evidence that refutes the flat Earth,
no,
flat
I'm
Earth
not
means-
saying that it's.
Make 4 runs around a Globe Earth channel. He has Globe Earth Hangouts. He's trolling.
What?
Anyway,
No, I don't, man.
regardless-
They're actually flat.
sorry,
Yes,
just if I could just get
they're actually flat.
Epistemology's
I'm just
attention just for a
listening to you
second. Sorry to
globers,
interrupt.
like,
Sorry,
talking stuff
guys,
because when I-
hello.
He's smiling. You can hear him smiling.
Regardless, if I could get your attention just
Troll
for 1
harder.
second. Right.
I'm laughing at you.
I'm gonna present this.
Your game is weak. Your game is weak.
There's an
My game is
example
weak.
that I
Okay,
think
so
epistemology wanted to
aerodynamics in a
give.
vacuum.
Sorry,
Please
can you just
explain.
let epistemology give this
Horizontal
example?
planar water is not curved.
Well, if you could get like
What the fuck?
10 miles
Trolling
of
doesn't-
horizontal, into view, it would be.
Trolling doesn't work in a vacuum.
Like where? Yeah, okay. So when that big ass straight rocket with just like propellants on the back bottom end of it, like gets into that vacuum, what happens? Like how does it steer? Do you have other little rockets at the nose?
Go through this with you, Make 4.
Well, how do you steer it?
How does it throttle?
How
The
about
moon,
you?
the
How does
moon,
it throttle?
the moon keeps orbiting by little farts. The moon farts.
Yeah, just
That's a
like
good
the way
one.
the birds
Rockets.
Just like the way the
That's-
birds.
Hey, what
fly,
happens-
They breathe in air
what
and
happens-
fart it out.
Yes,
How
that's
do you-
right. That's
how
how
do you
birds
measure-
fly too.
How do you measure apparent angular size on an object that changes shape 10%, give or take, every 27 days?
With a ruler, who knows?
You're telling me the
Measure
moon
it
changes
at
shape
any given
every
time.
10%? You reckon the moon
clowns.
changes shape 10%? Are you serious?
Because I heard that apparent angle discussion today, and they're like, "Well, you just measured; it's 1 degree, blah blah blah." And it's like, dude, you're trying to measure apparent angle on something that changes size apparently to our eyeballs. by
The
upwards
apparent
of
size
10%.
is the apparent size at that
Yeah.
time, you apparent
That's a joke.
idiot.
Angular size isn't the size
it's
of
not
the angle.
apparent. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. And
Angular size isn't the size of the angle. That's magic.
Personally,
Hold
I think we
on,
have
hold
like
on.
too many globers compared to flatties
Ang-
right now.
Angular size, angular diameter, apparent size are all the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But every
Who
27
gives a
days,
shit?
the moon changes its apparent
No.
size. It gets
27
bigger. It's called a
days is
supermoon.
Sorry,
is
The moon appears to get larger, so you're not that's not as counted for in the calculations. So you're clearly your assumptions are wrong. They're completely wrong. I'm showing it to be right now.
Is the angular diameter at that time.
On an object that's changing appearance upwards of 10% in its size. That'd be like trying to measure Mount Everest. Just listen, you're trying to measure Mount Everest, but on the 27th day of each month, it grows 1,000 feet.
No.
And then no, it's the same every day. It's the same
Totally
every
took what I
day.
had told you before.
Mount Everest
and
grows
you didn't
every 27
understand.
days by 1,000 feet, and then it shrinks again, but it's the same every day. Come on.
This goes back to you not knowing the difference between perigee and apogee. Remember, we talked about this before. We had this conversation, and clearly by using the 27 days, you don't understand that that's perigee to perigee or apogee to apogee, right? So you'd have to have that to go from perigee to apogee.
You guys can see this, right? Like when the fisheye just makes it go wah this way, and then you go back up, and it goes the other way.
Yeah, right in the middle, right
Whoa.
there. You could right in the middle, though.
Hey,
Stop it in the middle.
You want me to stop it in the middle?
He
Where's
tried
the
to
middle?
talk to you about that, and you didn't want to have it.
Well, where's the
You
middle?
already know,
How am I supposed to
Marcus.
judge where the middle is? Is it this bit?
Marcus,
Is that
you already know. You're asking us how to judge where the middle is, and you want to spout your opinion as if it's worth something. Good job, bro.
No, it's just that you guys shoot crap, and
You
and you don't
can't
actually
find the
have logical
middle of an
explanations.
image. You can't find the center of an image. How am I supposed to find the center?
Too hard.
Right, I'm going to have to turn you all down just so I can do a couple of intros. So we've been joined by Al, and we've also been, I can never say your name, is it Ariv? Is that right?
It's RV.
RV. Please have you, and Al. Please have
It's
you here, Al.
Lemonbird. Lemonbird is his name. Lemonbird.
Also known as Lemonbird, yes.
Good to have you here, and
How
Al.
y'all doing?
Pleased to have you here, Al.
Hey, mate.
My pleasure.
Evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Alright, so what do you think
Lemonbird.
about what we're talking about? RFA.
Shoot, y'all were talking about the moon getting bigger. That kind of points to a closer moon, doesn't it?
It doesn't get bigger though.
It does get closer.
The moon gets closer and further as it goes from perigee to apogee on its orbit. And there's about a 10% difference in apparent size as a result of that.
But
I
like,
thought you were talking
okay,
about
we
during
can
the
have
day,
flat model can have an explanation for that as well. Like,
It's a 10%.
What's the flat Earth explanation for that?
well, if I say, you might think I'm like an alien. Like, as soon as I say,
You know, T-Mars, give this guy some tips on trolling. I mean, he is just so bad at it.
You can't adversely affect my opinion of you, Marcus.
Don't have a Glober channel if you're gonna be a flat earther.
The old constellations out there.
There you go.
Just chilling. You're telling me we all move the same directions as all those other constellations, and we never see any change in the night sky, really, except the fact that they go over
We're
our head.
all moving with it.
We do.
We're all
see
moving
changes
in the
the
Milky
night
Way
sky.
the exact
What
same
are you
direction.
saying?
But do you know that
Except for the
the
27,000
do
year
change
circle we do.
depending on the time of the year you're looking above the sky?
So for gravity, you get, as Curved Water was saying, when you like fly up in the sky, you get lighter, right? Like so,
Very, very marginally. Yeah,
meaning gravity
there
gets
is a
weaker as you move away from
Sure,
it, right?
you get farther away from the center. The gravity will get slightly weaker. Yes.
So when we have things like galaxies, that would assume that a galaxy would have a stronger pull towards the center of it, wouldn't it? And therefore the edges of the galaxy would just be off, not as strongly tied to gravity and possibly drifting somewhat.
I don't even know what you're getting at here.
I'm getting at the fact that we're not moving the same speed around our galaxy, so the night sky like shouldn't really be like that. If you think we're all tied to it by gravity, like through some sort of massive black hole or whatever.
Well, we are traveling through the equinox, we are traveling.
Yeah, but the
through
center
the
of the galaxy would have a stronger pull, and therefore would be a different speed, more or less, than the outer edge galaxy stars. I'm just like, this is my own logical thinking of how you guys are trying to tell me that's how gravity works, and I'm telling you, well, then all of us stars on the edge of the Milky Way would be traveling at different speeds.
But how you're thinking is not a conclusion based on empirical evidence. It's just something you coming out of your head with, right?
Okay, yeah, but like, what is? Tell me what a black hole is then. You're telling me I'm making shit up. Well, tell me what a black hole is. Explain it and explain how they work and where they go and why it's all that compact matter all so dense
Black holes
to a
have
tiny
nothing
little
to do with
nothing.
flat Earth. They're off topic.
Marcus, you're trying to talk about black holes when you can't find the center of a screen.
Well, black holes are not observed either. It's another band-aid theory, just like gravity. I mean, gravity.
It's irrelevant. And it's irrelevant.
The thing about gravity is.
I would like to ask flat earthers, if the Earth is stationary, why do certain constellations change based on the time of year?
We're going to
a revolving firmament
Aquarius
around
too.
a flat Earth, a flat stationary Earth with the firmament moving, but not us.
Can I interrupt for a public service announcement, please, just for a second?
Why don't they change shape and size? Why are they always just tiny little dot stars?
Marcus, can you please stop screen sharing? If you can't read the group chat, then I've got to yell it to you. Thank you.
Oh, that was easy. So you just told me instead of made me read.
I tried. I had to talk over practically everybody and you to get it to you when I announced what I was trying to do in the first place.
Don't have to get so angry at each other. Just,
Yeah, maybe I should just smoke half as much weed as you, huh? And relax a little bit.
Probably, man. Yeah, I think all of NASA needs to just smoke a little bit of weed, probably, and just relax.
I'd rather
Like,
have my brain functioning. I'd rather have my brain functioning than be anything like you.
I'm sorry, did I just crack you because I was like getting you with the whole gravity at the center of the galaxy?
No, you're not getting me with anything. I'm totally disgusted with your trolling behavior on your channel.
Mate, I'm just pointing out some facts here.
Look, I can respect an artful troll, but you're nowhere close to that. Come on.
Because you thought I was friendly. You thought I was globe friendly, but I'm really not.
Please be flat Earth friendly. You're a very good weapon against flat Earth.
I think you think we're in the center of the Earth. I think you think you're a solipsist, aren't you?
In what?
A solipsist.
He doesn't know.
I don't know what that is. See, this is like
take another Matrix. Take another hook. Take another hit on the bong.
On the bong. Take another hit on the bong.
You know what's really cool is ice. You put some ice cubes in there and cool it down.
Yeah. With some Kool-Aid.
Very smooth. Very smooth. Makes it very smooth.
Then drink it afterwards.
Look, I'm not saying it's flat though, like, because all of those videos that, like, you can more or less, that beach picture that who was showing. Sorry, Nathan, if you want to talk, but the beach picture of Seattle that he was showing, where you can't see the bottom, does sort of appear like there's curve. But
yeah, what else could it be?
Been joined
it doesn't
by
mean that
Pete
it's a
Shea.
full-on sphere.
Very pleased to have you here, Pete Shea.
Thanks, Nathan. How you doing? You
Good
saw
to
my
have you
question there in chat, Nathan, did you?
I posted you a link, Pete. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't, but thank you for replying, man. Cheers. I'll see that again. Thank you.
No worries.
Nathan. So you're saying it could be dome Earth then? You're saying it could be a dome Earth? It could be a half a circle, maybe? A half a circle?
Nathan, could you share me so I can show this a little bit of this video?
That's not
you're being shared out.
Right.
Look, this is where like that looks Photoshop to me.
Why don't you wait and find out what I'm going to tell you about it before you make decisions about it?
Because
See, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Because
when Glober presents evidence, it's always CGI, fake, and it's not
showing me
held to
curve.
the
I was just
same
telling
standard.
If you would listen, I was just talking.
Going to listen? You maybe shut
No,
up
wait,
for a
wait.
second
I was
and
just
find out
talking
what
about
the
that
video actually
Seattle
is.
photo, and
Where's
I
the turtles
admitted
at?
curve in, like more or less. But
Finished?
you guys, okay? Am I finished? And you're just gonna talk something like I'm trying to move forward out of
He's
photo.
trying to present a video.
Yep, I'm trying to present something that addresses a point that's already been raised, but nobody really responded to it with any other evidence. Is this okay?
Do it.
Anyway.
Go for it.
So what you're looking at here is my TV screen. Look through a GoPro. The picture that is on the screen, anybody can get it off the internet. It's a picture there from space, and it's got a curve in it. And what I've done is I've overlaid the word center with a line underneath.
So it already
And the
had a
center-
curve in it when
What's
you got
this
it. You didn't take
nonsense?
this photo.
What's this
He
nonsense?
didn't take this photo.
Shut up and let me explain.
Yeah, this is evidence, Pete. Check it out.
Oh well, yeah, well it
Jesus.
must be right.
Evidence, like
It looks
okay.
like it.
Pete,
Cartoon
Science.
nonsense.
Pete, what age are you?
You have a photo. You're telling me like.
Can
Why don't you go
can
to
let
the
me
beach
What age is the
and
universe?
take a
You've
photo of
interrupted
that?
me, so if
What
you
age are you
shut
to
up long
just
enough to find out what the hell it is I'm trying to show you, maybe that would help. You just keep quiet for a second.
You're gonna show us the differences of when you look through it with different cameras.
No, it's looking at it through the GoPro. There is a marker in the form of text and a line underneath the text and right in the center of the screen. Okay, I'm telling you that it's already curved before it starts. Then if you play the video and move, you can see the differences at different levels. Okay, the curve is still there. You move above it, when it finally moves, you can see it starting to bow. That's because it's no longer in the center of the frame, so it's starting to bow up the way.
So,
I stopped there to demonstrate that the top of the TV, which is straight and was curved at the beginning of the video, is in line with the line. So you can see that as things go into the center of the frame, they actually go to the shape they're meant to be. So the TV is straight. The picture on the screen is curved.
It's nonsense. What a nonsense
It's not
conclusion.
nonsense.
Yeah,
It's
what
an
nonsense?
excellent-
It is a bit
excellent,
nonsense, actually.
Based on all the
excellent.
evidence that we have from high altitude balloons.
It looks good to me.
Right.
When you
Back
when
to
you
the-
when you
Okay,
increase in
starting
height,
with a photo
then
from
it
somewhere
goes down
else.
lower.
Like we don't know where you got it from. We don't know who's made this
yeah,
photo.
this is nonsense.
Like
Okay, well,
that's
here's
straight away.
the one that I was trying to solve,
What?
and maybe
So if you actually pay attention to the point that's being made,
Yeah,
it
yeah, we
is
get the point.
irrelevant where the photograph comes from. The point is that the photograph is curved to begin with.
Yeah,
So
it
then
could be
you've
a
got
beach
something
ball.
to
Who
see
cares?
what
It
happens
works.
through a GoPro looking at a curved image. And when it's going through the center of the frame, it looks curved. When it is below the center of the frame, it goes convex.
Okay.
You get it?
Do you want me to like? Can I redo
Point
that?
is, center
I don't
of
know
the
what that's
frame
got to do with
represents
the
the
point you were
reality. So
making.
if you watch a high altitude balloon footage through a GoPro and you look through the center of the frame and you see curve, then it's real curve.
Right, whatever.
I
I
see.
mean, why don't you address Marcus's
Whatever. That was an
regarding
excellent rebuttal. Pete.
That thing,
galactic-
that damn thing distorts stuff so much that I wouldn't even care about any
Why
of your
didn't
damn
it distort the straight line?
Like what? That
Why
we should.
doesn't it distort the straight line?
Exactly.
It does. It does.
Well, what if I
It
show you
accentuates the curve
when
TV?
the curve is
Look
above
at
the
the bottom of his
center.
TV. Look at that TV. Look how curved out his TV is.
Exactly, and I just showed you a minute ago that when it is
So it's-
lined up with the center, the TV is not curved.
But you're never gonna know where the center is, like
He doesn't know
especially
you're
up in a
talking about-
balloon.
Also
You're
did
looking
it
at
with
the
a
yellow
grid.
line. He doesn't know you're looking
This is
at
a
the yellow
grid
line.
covering the entire screen, looking the other way through the frame, and it's possible to get it lined up on a straight line all the way
This is
along that grid.
pointless. This is a waste of time.
Absolutely.
It is a waste of time because you're too stupid to understand the point.
Yeah, we're all
No,
too.
why? So
You can't
why would I
be
want to
clever
look
and
at
see
any of your
borders, right? All
photos
your
like
beliefs.
through a GoPro? If they're that distorted, why would I ever want to look at any
This is
photos?
what I'm trying to explain to you, but you're just not getting it. Is that the
See the
center of the
circle.
frame is not distorted?
It's
You see the
not.
circle
So
as you
but
write
it's
out
so
the
fucking
data
hard to
on
keep it
flat
on center.
plane.
Excuse me, but
As
this
it
is
all
just
indicates.
dumb.
See in the circle, they don't get this, right?
Hey, Al, can you click that? Can you click those two links that I posted there? in the side chat to illustrate your point a little better using one of the actual GoPro high altitude camera footages. It's in the side chat, in the group chat.
You have to wonder what they get out of it.
Click the first one
Get
for
it
me,
again,
and then we'll
trying
show them the second one.
retarded bowler or flat earthers.
So this is the Logi Launcher 2.0. You can go on YouTube and you can watch this thing yourself.
I suppose if you're on the clock,
you can see here on this GoPro footage that because I stopped it right when it's at the center of frame, it shows the horizon from the launching point as nice and flat as you would expect it to be. You see the horizon there? It's totally flat. Because as you can see, that line is passing through the center of the lens, more or less. It's off by just a hair, but it's enough to where you get a nice flat horizon, which means that lens, as long as it's going through the center of that frame, it is showing the true shape of the horizon. Now, if you go to can you click the second link now?
Yep, just a sec.
Oh, the big tag team.
And then now when you go to the high altitude of the same exact footage with the same exact lens.
Looking behind the scenes.
Oh, clicking
But
away.
do you think what you're not considering here? Can I just answer this? What you're not considering here is the forward and backward lean that the camera would have here as well.
That has nothing to do with it being in the center of frame.
You're just going like sideways.
Center of the frame. Center.
See in
the
a circle
frame.
as you ride.
Something in a circle as you don't even know how to find.
I literally just showed you a video where I was tilting the camera up and down, and then
see, you guys are just talking and talking. Like, I know, I just saw everything you told me, and you're telling me that you have to be perfectly on to make it show you the truth, perfectly center.
Understand?
And you're telling me this cat here is perfectly center, but like
no,
it's not.
No one's telling you the cat is perfectly center. How stoned are you?
How did you get the cat to stay so still, though?
Like you're trying to line it up with these X's and shit, and be like, oh, see, left and right.
That's the center of the frame, you geometrically incompetent tit.
But it's no, but like maybe if you would listen, the GoPro distorts it so easily that I just wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't trust it.
You're not
because as soon as you go,
you're
listen to how dumb you are now. What is happening?
You know,
I just love it.
Or intentionally pretending to be stupid. Either way.
Yep. And
sorry to interrupt, guys. We've been joined by a new guest. Can I just say hello to Beyond the Imaginary Echo Shed? Descent is futile, please.
Demagogic echo shed.
Suppose I show you a video where the curve.
Sorry, guys. Can I just say hello to our new guest? You don't seem to listen. It does not like your cue to interrupt me. I just need to say hello to our new guest or boot them. Hello. Can you say hello, new guest? Hello.
I don't know if I trust this one.
We're gonna get a hello.
Hey, who?
Bye. Sorry about that.
But the implications of it is basically saying any curve is basically from the GoPro lens. And
no,
so
it's
the
not.
curvature of
no,
the
it's not. That is exactly opposite the implication.
The GoPro can distort it enough that it will reverse your curve completely or 100%.
And what will it do through the center?
Not at the center of frame. Jesus.
If it's convex on one side and concave on the other, then what is it in the center? At some point, it has to switch from concave to convex. That is at
and there is 100% dead, like couple of pixels in the middle there. Like
it cannot transition from convex to concave without going to straight. Stop it.
Okay.
Yes, what straight line will do that. So a curved line would be distorted even more above the midline. So we should see a radically distorted curve
at the center or of stop it at the center or of
the Earth is curved. Yes, at the center line it would be curved anyway. And so above the midline.
I just showed you where it goes to the center line and the horizon is not curved. I just showed you on that at the low altitude, the horizon is not curved and it's going through the center of lens. There is no curvature on the horizon. Why is it that when it goes through the center of the lens at low altitude, there is no curvature, but at high altitude, there is? Why is that?
Well,
it's
first
going
start,
through
we
the same
don't know
exact
what's
spot on the lens.
like,
it's going through the same exact spot on the lens. Why is that?
There's a dude floating on a balloon like bumping around all over the place, and you expect us to be like, oh, that center, just there, right there, stop. Like,
See, what evidence could we possibly oppose to them? And then actually
Can somebody
take it
explain to
seriously
the
if they don't
tard
have
how we know what the center of the frame is there? Why are those X's there?
Just trolling.
you could crop it. You could crop it and then say, oh, we put X's through it and we cropped it.
You
and
can do it
there's center.
yourself. I linked you to the source material. You can do it yourself.
Jesus.
Yeah, you can check and see if anyone tampered with it just for that.
I'm sorry, Curves, but I'm still struggling to know where the little rockets on the back of the moon are that keeps it going around around us, so it never actually drags into us. Like,
But wouldn't that be a good
That's
catch
a
if you
secret.
actually checked out the source material and it
secret
in your favor?
You know I can't reveal that information. You don't have clearance, Make-War.
Shit.
And why is it that the space station is held to Earth by gravity, but inside the space station they're floating around as if there's no gravity? What's going on?
Because they're in free fall. They're orbiting in free fall.
But the
falling
gravity's
at the
holding the
rate
space station.
at the rate of gravity.
Just like those planes,
enjoying your
like the free fall
vacation?
planes do.
But not inside the space station.
That is actually true. There would have to be some sort of gravity to hold it in orbit a little bit.
There is. It experiences about
And why
90 or
is it
95%
inside of the space
gravity.
station?
Because it's in free fall. Listen.
But how does it stay
flying
in
around
orbit
like
if it's in
17,000
perfect
miles
free
an hour
fall?
falling.
Why do you guys ask questions you
What's
don't even
pulling it into
understand
the
the
circle?
answers to?
Because it shows the cognitive disconnect. Gravity for the
Your
space
own
station,
cognitive
not gravity for the
dissonance.
astronauts. The disconnect.
Your own cognitive dissonance.
So this is the way
Hey,
it
man,
goes
this is
every
the
single
logic that's working
hangout
out.
with everybody, right? Flat
I'm
earthers
laughing
try
my
and
ass
control the
off.
conversation, ask a bunch of stupid questions. Why don't
Well,
we start from
okay,
the other
it's
side
a
for the
legitimate
first time
question though.
in 3 years, or however long you people have been following this meme? Why don't you start telling us stuff? Why don't you start providing proof and evidence for flat Earth?
Do you want to ask your
That's
question
something
again,
that's
mate?
never
For we've got a couple
Start
of
like
minutes
my own
left.
channel, a little video thing, and pretend I'm in a spaceship. Sounds good to me. Hey guys,
You already
stop
tried
avoiding
to
me.
start your own channel. You don't even know how to
avoiding the
give out a
question.
hangout link.
Why are you
This
so
is meant
worried
to
about
be
the
a
secret
flat Earth debate, not a globe Earth question. So where's the flat Earth stuff?
where is the gravity
Why
pulling
do
the
flat
people
earthers always have
into orbit?
questions? Why don't you know
And
stuff?
why aren't they sticking to the side of the
Why have you
ship?
been looking at all this stuff for years and you don't know anything?
Because they're falling at the same rate that the ship is. I'm sorry if that's too difficult for you.
But then you need like little rockets on the back to keep it going, so it stops
Why?
falling.
How come somebody in a vomit
Talking about
comet
flat
doesn't
Earth
get
and we're
pinned
just
up against the
asking
wall of the
stupid questions?
cabin?
You tell me the ships are actually falling.
In orbit, it's in free fall. Yeah,
They're falling in orbit,
away.
so they need
Yeah.
constant speed to like they need enough speed
Yeah.
to keep the orbit, right? So where are the little rockets on the back of the moon?
Why would there be rockets on the back of the moon? And why are you so stupid as to ask a question
He's
that
trolling.
freaking dumb?
What's keeping the moon basically in
Just a
orbit
waste of
of
time, he's an idiot.
electromagnetism? I mean, there are electromagnetic models that show a constant levitation. Don't ask me how they work, but I've seen models on YouTube.
Don't ask me how they work. Yeah, because you don't want to talk about the strength of the field, do you?
Well, we have seen that superconductors that like get cooled down, they do eventually float on top of a magnetic field.
Right.
So like
Okay,
if
and the
we're north and
Earth
south
and the
pole,
moon
we
are
have a superconductor in the
superconductors.
sky.
They're super cool
Yes,
superconductors. Earth and the moon.
Tesla.
And they both would exhibit a field that would be measurable. Where is it?
Do they?
I wasn't
If you
listening. I
have to
kind of
ask,
stopped
you
listening.
don't deserve an answer.
Superconductor in the sky, floating around on the magnetic Earth. Did I say that?
Sounds good.
And with that, I am going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the live audience for tuning into this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.